This is all about screen paint. Actually, I do a little bit of everything. I was doing PC modifications and builds. Before I actually got into screen paints. I was actually one of the professions that I took on, and one of the blessings that my Lord gave me. We had to work on the modified computers along later on with screen paints. So anyway, we do both, and basically what this has to do with our screen paints is that when you develop screens, you're going to have something to game off. So it's a blessing that we actually are able to develop our screens and build computers. And I designed gaming screen paints, so these are gaming, low profile gaming setups. So anyway, vegetable oil PCs, mineral oil PCs, baby oil. Literally, I've seen baby oil PCs that are designed to keep the system cool. I've seen different types of modifications, like they'll remove the fans and all that stuff, the CPU, because there's no point, you can't run fans. You can run fans, they'll run for a while. That's basically about it, but after a while, they'll slow down. They'll start to slow down. Even if you have a fan speed controller on it, or even if you have a PC fan with really high RPMs, it's still, even with the barbarians in them, it's still going to eventually slow down. What's going to happen is it's going to stop. The LED lights will still be running, no problem, but the fan will not be spinning. To give it a little cool effect. First you get a little fast spin when it starts off, and then after a while you'll see it start to slow, and then it'll do kind of a skip and move and skip and move, and then eventually it just stops. But anyway, the big mistakes I've seen in this is the fact that I've seen others basically remove the CPU fan, which you got to do anyway to make a difference, and they'll basically stick the PC into a tank, thinking that the vegetable oil is going to keep it cool. The problem is that there's no place for the heat to go. That's the issue. You will end up cooking your system. Your system will accumulate a ton of freaking heat and all that oil, and eventually your system will start having some overheating issues. So, I started doing liquid cooling systems and vegetable oil. Now, I've seen somebody on YouTube claiming they started it. Nope, not. Sorry, buddy. We were doing it first. I can go back and show you dates on my YouTube video that date back farther than yours, and shows us clearly doing veggie oil and liquid cooling at the same time. So I gotta reach out to that YouTuber who made that comment, but he was the first. Nobody, we would be the first because we did it first. But anyway, getting back to this. So what happens is, yeah, your CPU disperses a ton of heat. And that heat, basically, if you're using a fan system, basically you're pushing the heat off the fan. The fan's actually drawing the heat off the CPU, and it's pushing it into the case, where your other fans are going to redirect that heat someplace else. Or if you have over here, which we have over here, our liquid cooling system, liquid cooling system, refrigeration unit. Heat's going to come out of your CPU, and this is going to be this is a reservoir, has a little fan system in it to actually redirect the water where it needs to go, and that heated water comes through little tubes up here, and they channel through the radiator you see at top, which you can't see. There's a radiator at top, so the water cools to the radiator as it's traveling through and ices it down. That's what these fans are for, and that's what the radiator system is for. Ices everything down and then actually pushes it right back in. This is a constant flow of cold water pushing in, hitting the CPU. There's never any hot water in there. It doesn't even get a chance to heat the CPU up. It stays nice and ice cold. That's why I like to use refrigeration unit. So when you're using a vegetable oil setup, the problem you have there is the fact that your heat has no place to go. It's trapped in vegetable oil. Where's it going to go? I mean, it could basically heat up and basically turn to steam, but do you really want steam coming out of vegetable oil? Yeah, it has an interesting scent to it, so I don't think you want it dispersing into the air. So you want to keep that. Do you smell them? Not really, to tell you the truth. I have never smelled them. It had some actually longer than 3 years. After a while, They do basically take on a kind of a gelatin form after a while, but it doesn't really disturb your PC at all in any way whatsoever. So the best way to basically make sure that you keep the heat where it belongs, that you be able to draw this heat and keep the oil nice and cool, is liquid cooling. So you put liquid cooling systems on top of your CPU. This won't damage the liquid cooling system. It won't damage the function, nothing whatsoever. I've had multiple fish tank PCs that I built, and I've used liquid cooling systems, and it works perfectly. Now, my modification for liquid cooling is to sandwich the radiator, which means we have fans in the back and fans in the front, which double the cooling process. And that allows for the radiators to actually cool down the water coming from the liquid cooling system much faster. So you have a double system set up. And of course, you're going to need long screws and bolts for that one, because again, you're going to have to be to mount that somewhere. But anyway, on top of that, to go with fans at 3,000 RPMs. They're a little more expensive. $27. That's funny. $27 a fan, but they're definitely worth it. Because again, 3,000 RPMs, that's a lot of RPMs. Consider the fact that your stock fans are going to be much lower than that. You can actually do both if you want, but those 3,000 RPM fans don't come with lights. They're used for industrial setups, so, or more like, more like industrial commercial setups. Now, if you want to basically increase the RPMs, you get something called a fan speed controller. Now, these control your different fans, control speed in your different areas of your case. You get one of those, that'll speed up your RPMs. I actually like to do my modifications with that. New modifications setup because of the M2s, because mind you, before the M2 solid state drive sticks came along, there was basically just a basic hard drive. So your basic hard drive would never be in vegetable oil because there's a disk in it. And the disk constantly has to move in order for it to read the data off the disk, the data you saved on there. So you can't put them in vegetable oil. So they sit up top along with the optical drive. When I used to use optical drive, no one uses optical drives anymore. But, well, some people still use them. But anyway, we're not going to go on that topic. That's why I keep saying at the end of the day, it's just no point you having an optical drive because it's just a waste of money and you're going backwards. But anyway, we don't use optical drives anymore. So you don't need the optical drive up there anymore. You really don't need, you can run it optional with either SATA cable hookup, or basically you can run it through the M2s. M2s generate heat. They generate a lot of freaking heat. I've done my research on these things. Before I'm going to install one of these into a motherboard, I need to know everything about this piece of equipment and what it does, how much heat it generates. It's going to affect the inside of my case and affect my heating because, again, I love cooling, and I basically I pride myself at basically doing the best and knowing as much as I possibly can about cooling my machines. Mind you, a good cooling system will prolong the life of your system. Now, I'm not joking with that. So if you notice that I spend money for these liquid cooling systems, because the longer that CPU lasts, the CPU is kind of like the transmission of your car. That thing goes, everything goes with it. Nothing works without the CPU. So you have to prolong the life of it. So that's why I explain to console gamers, and it upsets you when I say this, you have extremely poor cooling systems and extremely poor ventilation systems in your boxes, your cases, we're going to call it, that's what you have. Your system is going to prolong the life of your gaming experience. This is why when I did the Xbox 360 in vegetable oil and we modded it, it took forever for that thing to red ring on me, which means I had longer gameplay. I can play harder on this baby. I can play all the hot and hard games at the end of the day that would pretty much stress the system out. It wasn't having any issues or problems whatsoever. But if I kept it in the original case with the original setup and I ran something off of it like Halo, Gears of War, Samurai Warrior, games that have a lot of really heavy, stressful graphics in it, I would have burnt my system up easy. So cooling is extremely important. It's like you guarantee your system will work. So anyway, let's get back to this. So as I said before, if you're doing veggie oil, mineral oil, yes, they do baby oil. I've seen baby oil PCs that do them all. It's expensive. I don't know why you go down that route, but they still do it. You're going to have to be able to keep that oil cool. Now, like I said, usually your hard drive, optical drives, older systems, hard drive, optical drives, and would be sitting up top along with your radiator system. Your radiator system never drops in vegetable oil because that defeats the purpose. If those fans stop, that means there's no more cooling going to your radiator system, so they have to sit up top, always. So with that being said, with the M2s generate a ton of heat. How do we cool an M2 down in vegetable oil? The problem is that it's kind of hard to do this because, again, we would have to use a type of liquid cooling system that basically has a potential that if it does leak, we've got a liquid in the oil. And this is not good because that means that if the water or anything hits inside that oil, it means if it hits any of those circuits, it's the oil protects it, that water won't. Water will definitely damage, short something out, something bad's going to happen. So we have to be able to control the heat within the oil itself. How do we do that? We actually build a modification unit that allows us to do it. So the Dell has these really interesting heat sinks. I got to clean one of these off because they're really dirty. And I'm going to explain something to you real quick. When I tell you that the system that you have on your gaming system, the way it's designed, where the fan's sitting at, and you have these different ports that push air down to those fans, you have a massive heat coil in there, in that one section. Other area, you have your power supply, and the other area you have is where you have this huge, massive heat sink. And this is where people get sadly mistaken on this one. They think because the fan is spinning, they think that there's air transferring all the way through. Technically, no, not really happening. You need an outtake fan. So you need fan to be, your air has to be directed. So imagine if they put two fans in your system. They put one up here and one down here, right? So when that air pushes through, the air down here, it's going to basically push air out. So it's going to push air in. It's going to draw your air to go down and go into the proper areas that it needs to go to and push that heat right back out of your system. That's how I modded one of my 360s. I modded it that way so it can push air in and out of the system. Because note, I only had one fan in there. So if it's pushing air in there, where else is that hot air going? Now, if you're expecting the coils to cool it down, well, yeah, it's going to be a problem at the end of the day because you're still going to have to get the heat off the coils. It's just the way they design the cooling system is freaking unbelievable. It's just really bad workmanship at the end of the day. Again, console gamers, please do not get upset over this. I swear, at the end of the day, you gotta cool your jets, man. And the reason why is y'all get so freaking fickle on stuff. It's unbelievable. Like, you want certain things, but then you don't want to pay. And then you get mad at that. And then you basically have to understand your cooling system is not the best cooling system in the world. It really isn't. It's horrible. I'm waiting to see on November the 7th when someone gets one of these machines tear down. I want to see how this cooling system is designed. If it's designed anywhere close to the PS5, well, guess what? You just bought yourself a brick because that's where you're going at. You can't take the powerful PC parts that you want so badly, and you can't do them with poor cooling. You see how PCs are designed. You see the money that we put in for cooling these systems down. How big my case is in there. My case is way bigger than your console system. I still have to have fans in there. I have to have cooling system there to keep the machine cool, everything cool in there, so my stuff doesn't burn out. Because I like to play stressful games. On top of that, my systems don't shut off. These things have been on for at least about 2 weeks. I never have to worry about that system ever burning out. I could run that thing for a month straight, and I would never have a problem from it. They constantly stay on. Do I need to turn? No, I don't need it. It's a refrigeration unit sitting on that thing. So, yeah. Y'all, if you're going to be doing this, you need to put you on wider cases. I showed you that nice PC case, the one I'm getting for the i7 setup. I might get an i9 now. I'm getting an i9 setup now. i7 setup or 9.9. I'm deciding. I was looking at some games I wanted, and apparently I might have to go in the i9 direction. But anyway, with that being said, it's a small little case. It's a little wider than your system, but it's shorter than your system, and it's portable. It's a nice little handle on it. You can take it where you want to go. I want to build one. It's going to be pretty nice at the end of the day. So yeah, you should have went with that case, and they should have went with a liquid cooling system. That would have been a hoot. But still, the M2s generate a ton of heat, and they do. That's why they put the heat sinks on them. That's why they're put on top of them, because they generate heat. So with that being said, if I stick this thing in one of these, which is the Deep 6, this is Deep 6-7. This is actually a PC mod we're building. It's going to have a submarine in it. It's going to be submerged. It's going to have a nuclear powered station that's going to be hooked into the submarine. You're going to see power transferring back and forth, and you're going to see bio waste in different corners of it. It's going to be pretty cool looking built. So the motherboard we have in there is a Dell motherboard. We're not using it. It's just to give us an idea of where we need to put the motherboard at and where we need to set everything at. So when we put the M2 in there, the experience is an experimental case. So experimental cases, we're going to try certain things that you're really not supposed to do with PC parts to see what happens. That's why experimental case. So we're going to submerge a M2 under vegetable oil and see if it functions, because I'm thinking it can do it. I don't see why it can't. All those transistors, parts, and circuits we have on here, they run perfectly under vegetable oil. I even dropped webcams under vegetable oil and they've worked perfectly. So I don't see why an M2 wouldn't work, because it doesn't have a disk on it. A hard drive, you can't drop in vegetable oil because there's a disk, and if the disk stops running, guess what? Your hard drive doesn't work anymore. This doesn't have that issue. But the problem is that the M2 generates a lot of heat. Now, getting back to I'm talking about where, sorry about going off path for a minute, because I gotta address the certain individuals who get mad at me and upset with me by saying that, oh, our systems keep cool. Yeah, that would explain the thousands of videos I watch every day on YouTube. People sitting there upset because their system's bricked or burnt out, don't work anymore, stop functioning, cut off, powered down, all that stuff because your systems are overheating. And keep in mind, as I said before, because you don't have an outtake fan to redirect the heat someplace else, your system also too accumulates dust, which means all systems accumulate dust. PCs accumulate dust, everything accumulates dust. I got air cleaners in here. This building has an air cleaner in here. I can pull my air cleaner and show you what's in my filters. There's barely nothing in there. But these things still accumulate dust. And if you got, I don't care if you don't, some people say if you don't set them on the floor, that's not going to, dust doesn't just travel to the floor, it's actually in the air. That's why people have air cleaners, because you breathe this stuff in. So yeah, you're going to have dust in there. And what's going to happen is those little corridors that you have where your system, if you clean out the fan over and over again, you still have dust particles. If you see dust particles on your fan, they went someplace else too. Just so you know, dust blows where it wants to go. So if your system is blowing air down these certain ports, guess what else is going down there? Good old dust is down there too. And if you go to your fan to clean it out, every time you clean it out, mind you, you're not going to those ports to clean them out. Them certain areas where that fan, the dust is collecting. So every time you clean your fan, you're neglecting areas that need to be cleaned, and it's accumulating. And when it accumulates, this is what happens. You see that dust build up? That's what happens to your radiator system that you have down there, that coil radiator system you have. This is all the dust that can accumulate on your system. This is one of my Dells. This is why I opened it up. I had to take the whole thing apart. It's in a compact case. Now, would it have been perfect if I didn't decide to turn into a gaming PC? Yeah, it would have been perfect, but I decided to turn to a gaming PC because it required more air. As a work PC, I could have kept it in the case, it was okay, but I still had to go in and clean it out. And this is how much dust that will, little heat coils, and when the fan is pushing air into them, this is what they can pick up. This is the heat sink that goes on top of your Dell, or Dell I was using right now. See? So that goes on top of your CPU. That's a coil system that runs, actually the copper coil system that runs into the little radiator unit right there. And that sits right on top, right there, see? So the problem you have here is the fact that you're going to get dust in there regardless whether you like it or not. It is going to be on your system. And you have to go past the warranty to get to that system, to get to that particular area where those coils are at, where your power supply sits at, with all those micro holes that can be easily plugged up. No air, this is unusable if you got cakes of dust on it. So keep in mind that every time you go into maintenance, your fan, the dust you have on your fan also has transferred to those particular areas too. And every time you clean your fan and you don't clean those areas, it starts to accumulate. And your system, eventually, it's just going to overheat and burn out. But the sad thing about it is, and this is the jacked up part, you can't go to those areas. Because if you go to those areas, you void your warranty from the door. If you don't go to those areas, you don't have a system anymore. But your system's going to overheat. That's what's going to happen. It's going to burn out. So it's kind of a damned if you do and damned if you don't scenario. See, this is what I'm talking about by no freedom at all. Where me, It's kind of like, put it this way, I like using the house scenario. So you got to have 4 of the rooms in the house you can't go into, but the roof is leaking in those particular areas. And if you continue to neglect them, what's going to happen is you're going to have all kinds of dry rot and everything that's going to form, mold, all kinds of stuff, and structure damage, all that's going to pop up. But if you go into those rooms to fix the problem, because you can fix them, then basically you void your lease on the property. That's what you go through in console. Where in PC, it's different. It's like, I'm going to go in all the rooms in this place, even the basement, even the attic, the backyard, the driveway, everywhere I want to go. And if I want, I can add an extension to it if I want, the whole 9 yards, everything. You just got free roam of everything, literally free roam. I think I'm going to build a barn like 6 miles from the house. You can literally go do that. It's yours. It is your property. It belongs to you. That's one thing I can never understand when I was modding consoles. That's one thing I never understand. I would get console bans constantly all the time. Like, what the freak? Like, seriously? They banned me for this? And I wasn't even going into lobbies. I wasn't going in and basically having God mode and having immortality and cheating games. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just basically games for my own personal fun and having my friends come in there. Once in a while, we bring somebody new in there, which is probably snitched. So I got busted. But anyway, and we would just go in there and game and have fun. And sometimes it was nice to bring other people in that have never experienced a mod before, and they loved it. We come in the room, then they get a chance to do something different with the game they never did. So, it was pretty cool. Every once in a while, you get a hater up there. Them haters be mad at the end of the day because you're doing something they can't do. So they're coming and enjoying the game and having fun with the rest of us. They got to spoil it and do dumb stuff, which they like to do. Haters have been going on for centuries. Anyway. So, yeah, I was dealing with haters when I was building PCs. I was dealing with haters when I was modding. I deal with haters all the time. Ain't nothing new. But anyway, so yeah, we go in there, we have fun and do this and do that. You know what I mean? We after a while, I come back in, hit my system, and I get that whole little avatar waving at you, talking about, hey, your system's been banned for 99999999999. Be a bunch of nines going across the screen like basically just they gave you a bunch of nines, but judging by all the nines you got a freaking permanent ban on your hardware. So you're like, whatever. I'm running a T1. I got like 15 IP addresses. I'm just gonna go in and reset back up again, go back in. This time I just do it differently. I just mask my IP address. That's what I'll do, and JTAG jack out of my freaking system so that we can change my gamer tag at will. Stuff like that you got to do. I don't have to not hate it so much as I think it's my system. I paid for this thing, man. I sat there, as long as I'm not online, as long as I'm not cheating, as long as I'm not doing things I'm not supposed to do. I can understand, yeah, you want to ban me because I'm running around in games and I got God mode, I got freaking one hit, one kill, weapons set up and all that stuff. All right, yeah, I deserve to be banned. 100%, I believe that. 100% I deserve to be banned. But if I'm minding my own business, I'm in my own setup. Sometimes I'll hook up a dedicated server setup. And I'm in there with my friends, and we're in there playing in our own room. And we're not doing anything there. We're just having fun in there between us. You know what I mean? Room's modified. People know when they come in. If we do allow people, and sometimes we have locked rooms, that's just us. That's our business. But when you sit there and tell me you're going to ban me on a freaking console system that I paid for, I pay for the subscription to keep that thing online. I pay for the games that go into it. I pay for your controllers. I pay for everything in that system. And I can't do this on my own system. If I do this, there should be modification and I get a lifetime ban for it. Done. That's it. That's literally how I feel when I'm on console. PC, on the other hand, what do you want to do? Or mod this. I can go in and change the game. If I don't like freaking how it looks, I can change basically the lighting, the background, everything. I can change whatever I want in there if I want. They allow me to do as far as I want to go. But yeah, I can do a lot in there. Change anything I want. On top of that, they can't ban me because they kind of push you to kind of like, hey, you want to do modifications? You can sell your modifications. I can download other people's mods in there. Well, this is freaking cool. Send them a message like, it's really nice. I like this. But yeah, that nonsense. That's what ticked me off the first time. It was on Xbox 360 where I got ticked off. I got a ban from them because I went in and I basically modified. Hardware modification. I got one of those too. That's the other one I got was hardware modification. It's my system. I should be able to do what I want. I call them up and I go, look, man, you guys gave me a freaking lifetime ban for what you give me a ban for? Oh, your system shows you have hardware modification. It's my system. I paid for it. What are you talking about? I should do whatever I want. Yeah, but you really can't, because technically it's not yours. What the frick you mean by that? Technically it's not mine at the end of the day. When you buy a house, it's your house. You bought it, it's yours. Oh, that's the objective thing about it, because technically it's not your house. That's messed up. That's another topic. It's not, I've talked about this, it's not your house. It's just not your house at all, period. I love when people are homeowners and they say, I own my, no, you don't own your house. You don't. You don't own it. No, you don't. You even have to ask permission to work on it, so you don't own it. But anyway, getting back to this, at least with a car, it's yours. Because of the car, you don't continue to pay taxes on it, so that's pretty cool, ain't it? That's one thing that's probably a lot of people basically turn trucks and buses and all that stuff into homes because you don't pay taxes on it. Literally, you don't, because once you pay for it, it's yours. You pay a lease on it, that's it. But anyway, so that's what I like about it's mine. So let's get back to this modification. So yeah, getting back to the hard drives. So the hard drives, basically, they accumulate heat. M2s heat up. They have heating issues. I don't like it. I gave you these freaking strips. If you notice, you look at the more high-tech motherboards have these massive heat strips that go across in these cases that keep it nice and cool. Problem we have here is that'd be nice if it wasn't in vegetable oil, but if it's in vegetable oil, the heat has to go somewhere. It doesn't just go into vegetable oil and just disappear. It has to go somewhere. I say that because I see people that do vegetable oil cool PCs. I'm looking at them like one guy went and took apart the freaking power supply. Don't do that. Don't. You got shocked. Yeah, you got shocked. Common sense told you should have never been in to begin with. Why are you taking the fans out of the power supply? They're not going. It doesn't do anything at all to take the fans out. That's just asking to get electrocuted. And take the fans out of it. Leave them in there. I built dozens of them. I leave the fans in there. What happens is, like I said, the fans will start spinning at first, and then eventually they'll start to slow down, and then you get that kind of shudder where they'll move and then stop, and move and then stop, and then they'll just stop altogether, but the lights will keep running. Does this damage your system? No, it doesn't damage. The fans just don't move. That's all. It still runs, so no problem whatsoever. Fans are there to keep your power supply cool, and again, don't need it because you're in a liquid cooling system. So again, actually liquid cooling system, but then you have the vegetable oil. But keep in mind that since the M2s are in there now, and the hard drives used to be outside the case, but the M2s are in there, M2s are going to generate heat, and they're going to heat up your system. So let's show you what we came up with. So we came up with an interesting idea. We have to be able to cool. We have to be able to cool the vegetable oil from within the case, right? Because that's what we're going to have to do. I can't find anything. I can find other things designed. There's other cooling systems. Yeah, they make cooling systems. So I'm cleaning off something real quick. Cleaning something off in the background. They make cooling systems for your for the M2 sticks. They do, but not when they're submerged in vegetable oil. That's a whole different level of cooling. So, and keep in mind that most of the ones I've seen for liquid cooling is mostly like a kind of the daisy chain, not the AIO liquid cooling systems, the ones that have a more advanced cooling system where they have a reservoir, pumping station, all those multiple cables that bounce back and forth. Those are the more advanced version of liquid cooling. So again, that's a liquid pushing back and forth. And then again, if you have any leakage issues or anything that happens, that's a liquid that's not basically, if it spills, it's something that basically, if it just goes to the case, it's to the case. But this is another liquid you have in there. If it gets in that and it moves around and hits something, then you're in a lot of trouble. It's kind of like having water, floating around in gravity. You take a 5-gallon bucket of water and you dump it in a gravity tank and you put circuits around it. It's okay if it's sitting in the middle of it, but if that bubble floats over and hits one of those circuits, that's literally what you're looking at. So it's kind of like you're adding gravity to your tank, so zero gravity to your tank. So you can't do that. So the idea that we came up with, which I think is pretty cool, is that we're going to take this heatsink unit right here and we're going to modify it. We're going to take the liquid cooling, another liquid cooling like this, and we're going to mount this. This is a copper block system. This is used basically to keep your CPU nice and cool. And we're going to put a copper block on top of this that's going to meet with this with some thermal paste. Don't worry, your thermal paste is not going to get messed up by the vegetable oil. Lock this in place. When we lock this in place, it's going to keep this nice and cool, which is going to generate to this radiator system right here. And this is going to be sitting inside under the tank, which is actually going to cause for the heat to go somewhere. It's going to be drawn to this. It's going to keep it nice and cool in there. So I think it's going to work quite nicely. So that's what we're going to do. So we got to have something in there to keep it cool. Keep the temperature in the vegetable oil at a normal level. And this is what's going to do it. And we're going to basically amp up the system, which means I'm putting, since I'm only going to have to use, because the case is not a big case, so we're probably going to use 100 millimeter setup for liquid cooling, which is roughly about 120 millimeter fan single. And that means we're going to take off the stock fan and put down 2 of the industrial fans at 3,000 RPM. So altogether, we'll be running 6,000 RPMs on this unit, including the fan speed controller to boost that and push it through this. It's going to allow that oil, this cool air, to push through that oil, cool it down in there. On top of that, the CPU is already going to be running a liquid cooling system. So we're running 2 liquid cooling systems at the same time through this unit. It's going to be pretty amazing. This is what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Yep. As for the graphic card we're going to put in there, we're going to swap out and put in the power supply in here. We're going to put in the video card in here. I decided to get 1050s. So we get, not 1050s, oh my God, I'm thinking about this. That's a 1050. I'm thinking about getting the 3050s. So 3050s we're going to put here instead. 3050 here, 3050 here. And I'm going to upgrade both of these to i7s right from the door. Do them from i7s. The boards can be maxed out at 32. So we're going to max the boards out at 32. So these two are going to get major up. This one right here is coming out of the case altogether. I'm going to stick it into a rack unit. I got something I want to set up. I like the bottom area. I do want to put an infinity window like we have here. I'm going to put it down here, infinity mirror system in here with a whole Pac-Man display. Like a huge Pac-Man head that glows in the dark and ghosts that protrude all around the case. So we're going to do something like that. So do something pretty cool with it. But other than that, getting back to Deep 6 Ocean 7, or Deep Ocean, that's what we're calling it now. Yeah, we have to be to keep it nice and cool. We got another experimental case we're working on too. So kind of curious if this is going to work. I might just stick a Dell setup in there because I'm really sure we don't short anything out in the process. We shouldn't have that problem. And it's gonna be a very strange build, but I don't think we have a problem. It involves a neon forest, so I do want to do a neon forest case. The entire thing, everything's glow in the dark. We have to have a special case for that. We need a wide body case. And it's definitely going to have to be a fish tank case. We definitely need that with plenty of windows just so you can see all the beautiful stuff that's going on in there. We're going to have to tint the glass slightly because we do want it to remain dark in the case, but enough that you can actually see what's going on inside. So we're going to do a whole beautiful neon forest with a little cascading waterfall. Waterfall's not real. We have to make it look like it's real. We'll damage something in there. And we're going to put in a special effect to the glass and the corners, which I can't tell you about yet. When we get to that point, we'll show you exactly what we're working on, but it's going to be magical. I can't say the word. I want to say it. Whimsical. It's going to be absolutely whimsical. Yeah. So that's what we're going to be working on. Keep forgetting on the wrong mouse. Here we go. Still up and down. I forgot. Yeah, down in the game right now. I'm right there. All right, so that's what we're doing for that. Modifications, we're keeping it nice and cool. So there's without thermal paste. This is with dirty with thermal paste on it. So, for those, like I said, I advise people to try to do both. I mean, some people say, hey, I'm hardcore console. I will never, ever have a PC ever. Yeah, you keep on saying that. You're pretty much almost there anyway. I mean, you do downloads and, you know what I mean? You have a choice. You don't really need an optical drive. Technically, you don't need it at all. period. I don't even know the purpose of it up at all, period. You in your library, I can see if your library had like some games in it, and majority of the games were on disc, but you have literally any disc, any game that comes out for the PlayStation, your console system is downloadable. I know, because on there has the same downloadable games you have. The PS4 has the same download. I can see the games I'll have. We have the same thing, except for some games will not play on that system because it's an older model. But majority, they're still making games for that console system. So you have pretty much the same thing you can get at GameStop. You literally have it sitting in your system. So why do you need an optical drive to begin with? I tell you, it's going to be an obsolete. You're going to get rid of it together. And I tell you, the proof is in the pudding when you saw the Pro. The Pro made it optional to have that disc on there. Mind you, as I said before, when it first started off, a little bit off topic, but I have to say this. When you first started off with the PS5, you had two of them. You had one had the disc and one didn't have the disc. One with the disc was more money, and the one without the disc was less money. But the future system was the one without the disc. The future one. And why? Because when they launched Pro, it doesn't have a disc on it. It's digital. It's optional to have the disc. If they thought that it was a more future part that was needed, they would have added it on. Just like they added on for every other system that they made for the PlayStation. This one, they made it optional. When the PS6 comes out, you're not going to see a disc on there. It's going to be the same thing. They're going to have no disc. They're going to be digital systems. Because the future is not with physical copies anymore. The future is digital. That's what it is. I remember when I had my other gaming PC, I watched my friends get up and go all the way to GameStop to buy a game that I could just sit home and go, doop, doop, done. No sitting and waiting in line. No out in the cold, out in the rain. No, none of that nonsense. No wasting any gas, and it'd be snowing outside and go through any of that nonsense. Sit down and go, oh, there's a game right there. Okay, I can put in pre-order. Doop. And it gave me a little timing when it was coming in, and game would come in. It was like Call of Duty, I forget what it was, or something. But yeah, they're sitting there waiting in line, freezing. I'm calling, hey, where you at? You're in line freezing? Okay. There we go. Okay, well, keep warm. So yeah, I already downloaded the game already. I'm going to go to the store, go pick up some food. Yeah. You're done. Now y'all have that option. Y'all already have an entire store in there. Now y'all can go in and download DLCs and updates and all kinds of cool stuff and everything. Just like you would have if you go to the store. So why would you need a physical disc? Now, for those people who say, well, we need a physical disc because, I like to keep, I want to have a copy of my game. I want to have like a physical copy that I own the game and whatever, you know what I mean? It just feels like, like you really own the game when you actually have it in your hand. And that's why they want it. But the thing about it is, the way your system's traveling, you're not going to be using this much longer. I'm surprised you're still using it now. I'm really shocked using it now. Because I've never went to a store and bought a PC game. Never gone and bought a PC game. For what? Going to Steam. I'm on Steam right now. Buying games on Steam right now. Why am I going to a store to buy games that I need is right there? No, I don't need to go through all that. So that's what I'm saying. That's the direction you're landing at. If you can stay on that to begin with. Because again, I told you, I got bigger problems right now. You got much bigger problems. You got scalper problems right now. Yeah, I got to do something about that mess. But I'm telling you, it's gonna be a hot mess. It's gonna be a hot mess for a while until they leave y'all alone. You know what I mean? Y'all need. It's not just y'all. All consoles need to do that. I wonder why they don't scalp the Nintendo. You ever notice that? Nintendo don't go through scalpers. Xbox doesn't have that issue. They don't go through scalpers. PlayStation gets it. Your system, look on the bright side. You got a popular system. You must be doing, I told you at the end of the day, your system must be doing good. It must be. I'm not getting it wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad system. It's a good system. It is. I would change a few things about it. Pretty much if it was me at the end of the day, like I said, I would make it so you have to come to the store and pick one of those things up. It's your ID, pick your unit up. That's where I would do it from the door. If I'm not seeing that problem popping up. Because it's about the fans. It's always been about the fans, and it should be. But you know, when you get money and corporations all involved together, it's more about money. It comes down to money and numbers. That's what it comes down to. Money and numbers. You don't care where it's coming from. It's money and numbers. It's about the fan base. The fan base has been with you since day one when you first started selling your system. I had a Sony PlayStation when they first came out. I had Toshinden and a jumping jack flash with it when I first bought my system. Because when I found out that Sony's making the games, I was like, Sony's making a game system? Like, really? I was like, I gotta check that out. And that's what I bought. Toshinden, and I bought jumping jack flash. And man, had a ball playing that. Had a ball playing it. So anyway, that's when they were like seven. Oh shoot, how much was a PlayStation? I think they were around that price. Yeah. I wonder how much they were. Well, they were 300. I didn't pay $300 for mine, and there was no shortage on them. There was none of that stuff. There are plenty of systems, plenty of them. I've never had console gaming, Saturn, N64, Atari 20, any of them consoles. I've never walked in and said, "Oh, we have a shortage. We have to wait." Never, ever seen it. Never had scalpers buy up all the systems and you couldn't get one, your hands on one. Never had that problem, ever. Now, those of you of the new generation, you're just going through this mess. You're in the mess of it all. But those of older generation, we've never had that issue. I've never gone in to buy a Atari 2600 and they say, "Oh, we don't have any left because, scalpers took them all." Or you can't get the Dreamcast. I got the Japanese version and I got the American version on the Dreamcast. I was able to buy everything that I wanted. It was in there. So again, you get mad at me when I talk about scalpers at the end of the day. I'm not a scalper. I'm not touching your system. I'm building PCs. I'm in a different layer right there. If you're mad at me because I mentioned that, it's true. We're going to just sit in denial. We're just going to all just sit in denial. Oh, you're going to sit in denial in a corner and just deny it, but get mad at anybody else that brings it up. You fanboys, like I say, you fanboys are different. You are definitely cut different. Definitely cut different. You're going to get mad at everybody else at the end of the day. Now, I'm saying all fanboys, but there are certain ones out there that just are in this super, super denial stage that is unfreaking believable. I bump into them all the time. Your systems are being snatched left and right. You know what? Put your YouTube channels at the bottom of my video, because I can't wait to call you out when that system launches in November and you don't see any of them around. Because it's going to happen. They're going to snatch every single one of them. Why wouldn't they? You're in Black Friday territory and Christmas territory. They stand to make a ton of money. They're making money now, and we're in season of Halloween, and they're making money off pre-orders on a system that's not even available yet. So imagine when the system is available. Imagine when they restock them. They're going to hit every single one. They're going to stockpile to get ready for the Christmas rush. They're going to make their money because if there's no, this is how it works, people understand. If there's no systems to be had, and they're the only ones with them, that means you have to go to them to buy. And if you have to go to them to buy, they can charge whatever they want. But if these systems were all over the place with multiple circulation everywhere, what's the point of taking something that I can go someplace and get it? You're $8,000, $3,000. I ain't paying that. I can go right over to the store and pick it up over there for like $600. But if they take all of them as fast as they come out, then that means there's a shortage on the system, which means the system goes up in value. Much like the NVIDIA fiasco that happened in COVID, because you had other companies that sourced their companies to other countries, and when COVID hit, those countries had to shut down, which means those particular cards became extremely hard to get, and that means over here in the U.S., the cards jumped in price. Pizza gamers, you remember that, the NVIDIA fiasco that went on. So it was extremely hard to get your hands on NVIDIA cards, and they were super expensive. On the ones over here, the price jumped. It tripled in price. It was insane how much you had to pay for a video card compared to what you paid for it before COVID. So that's what happens. So that's what's going to happen to your console system. And then knowing this, that they can do this, they had that kind of power, that they came in and took the 30th anniversaries, I think just for that sake of just showing you we could do it. We could just take out just like that. We talked about this before. We had this conversation. It's so many different areas that can play. I'm just saying speculation on my end, businessman. If I knew that I had someone out there that was buying up all my stuff automatically, no matter what, they were going to buy it up. Who am I designing games for now? Who am I designing consoles for now? I can charge. They bought all my systems for $1,000 easy, so I can charge $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 for a console. Now, even though the average gamer is not going to pay for that, but the scalper will. The most hardcore gamer is going to shell out that money. Person got deep pockets, going to shell out that money to get that system. The sad thing about it, the everyday Joe, the true fan at the end of the day, the one that saves up his money to get that system, the one that actually supported them from day one, he's the one that's going to get done dirty. Because business at the end of the day, they're going to go with the scalper. They're going to charge more. The scalper's going to pay for it. So at one point, you got to consider the fact, who are we catering to? Are we catering to the scalpers, or are we catering to the fans? But you'll find that out. That will make itself known when you see the PS6 comes out. If the price is going to be way over the $700 mark, it's way over $700. It's going to be way over that. There's no way in the world they're going to be able to put parts in it. The parts are going to, I mean, the parts they have in the PS5 Pro, the PS5 is pretty good, but the PS5 Pro is actually a different machine, definitely much better. So what they're going to probably stick into that machine, it's going to be much higher than the PS5 Pro. Because again, for those people saying, no, it's going to be the same price. What's the point of basically making a new system if they both have the same parts? Something's got to be different about it for me to spend the money. It's like me buying the same car, except for one costs more. Wait, so why does this cost more than this car? It's both red, they both have the same tires, the engine, the transmission, everything's the same, right? What makes this different? But this car right here is a PS5 Pro 6. Yeah, but it don't have, it's the same thing. Like, it's literally the same thing. But no, it's different. The name is different. The name makes it drive, there you go, makes it drive faster. There you go. That's what you're heading for. But, you know, what do I know? I've been playing consoles on the Odyssey system. I've had it on Pong. I mean, literally, my first gaming system. Name your first gaming system. My first gaming system was Pong on Tanny Corporations. This is before Radio Shack was called Radio Shack. That shows you how old I am. That was my first game system. I remember that. It was an old little computer that did Pong. And if you wanted to play do computer games on it, you weren't doing any computer games in there. You literally had to write code in this thing. It gave you a booklet, and you had to write 2 pages of code just to get the screen to flash red. But that was fascinating for us at that particular time. It was amazing to see red come up off. Oh, wow. And that's how old. That's my first gaming system. So when I got people, I'm talking about, yeah, my first game system was the NES, and I had freaking Genesis, I had Atari 2600, I had Pong. I remember gaming off vector graphics and Pong. Yeah. I was around when 14.4 was the modem speed. 14.4, you know, slow 14.4 is now considered. Back then, lightning speed at 14.4, 8-bit graphic video card. Yeah, I was around that era. That's my era. So, that shows you how long again I've been gaming. So from there, to tell you the truth, honestly, I've never seen anything like this in my life of gaming. But like I said, it's kind of like they can turn this literally into a soap opera. They can literally turn this into a soap opera as the PlayStation turns. Today, tune in when the PlayStation turns. What will happen to the PlayStation? What is the future of console? Or at the hands of the scalpers, because you have to have a villain there somewhere, or the hand of the and soap operas, you have to have the innocent, you have to have the greed, and you have to have the evil. So the evil would be your scalpers, the sinister would be the the corporation of PlayStation, because again, you don't know where they're going. Like, they seem like they're on your side, but they're not on your side. It's a back and forth kind of thing. And then you got the small guy in between. You know what I mean? He's not with the rich and powerful, but he's still a voice that needs to be heard. And he's the console gamer at the end of the day, the guy who basically saves up his money and has all the posters and games and been with them since day one. Has been a diehard fan. At the end of the day, that's the one they need to make the system for. Not for the people who got the deep pockets, the guy who sits there and works and has these posters and all that, has been a true fan since day one. You're talking about you fanboys at the end of the day. Because you're the guys who basically at the end of the day has made the system for what it is. I'm not saying at the end of the day the fanboys are a bad thing today. They're not. But they are the ones who actually made the system what it is. They're responsible for it. They're the loyal customers. So you can't forget them. But they do have to come to reality at the end of the day that this is where it's heading. I know it's sad, it's messed up, and I'm sorry you're going through all that. And I'm consoling myself. It's a messed up thing. I mean, me playing games from Tandy Corporation on Pong and seeing the development of different games come up and then see it come to this, like, gee, this is kind of messed up. So I feel sorry for the fanboys because they true blue love their systems. They do, you know. And the sad thing about it is this is where it's coming to. If someone doesn't step in and fix this mess. But until then, there's an option. You can go PC. You can do both. I can do both. There is some, I've read some rumor about Sega, Super Sega. Oh my goodness. Just stop it, please. If you're not going to bring out a Sega console system, I'm talking about a real Sega console. Just don't toy with my emotions. Don't toy with my emotions. I want a Sega system to come out so bad. I'm going to tell you something. Announced that they are bringing out a console system to go back in the console wars. You're going to watch a huge amount of your clan members drop off. A lot of them. A lot of people are going to drop off. You're going to see it. I would leave PC for Sega. Sega decides to come out with a new system. I'm not building anything else. I wouldn't even bother going there. I'm not going to any of that stuff. I'm going over and get me a Sega system. Yep. Yes, sirree. They just said they were making a new Dreamcast, a new system. Yeah. I'm definitely, I'm done. I'm not doing PC and none of that anymore. I'm going console. But they're not. They're not going to do it. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for our modification talk right here. And we got a chance to talk about some other stuff involving console. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate console, and I don't have a PS4, but I love my PS4 to death. As a matter of fact, I'm modifying my PS4. I'm upgrading it. I love my system to death. I wouldn't get rid of my PS4 for all the money in the world. I love it. And, I've got mocked by people that were console gamers who mocked me for having a PS4. So I'm like, oh, look at you. You got an older system. You need an update to a PS5 update. I know your motherboard and your system. I know your system's built, all that stuff. I studied your system because I was going to modify one of them. So I studied my hardware before I actually go and start pulling parts apart. And I realized that the system wasn't all that was coughed up to be at the end of the day. It's a lot of hype over a system at the end of the day that has a 600 gigabyte on sitting on top of it. So not that hype at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, the hard drive space that I have on the PS4 is bigger than yours. So if you're talking about graphic-wise, when you get into that range of graphics, I build PCs. So, yeah, I don't get what you're talking about. What you're talking about, I have to update. I do both, PC and console. That's just for not saying, now I'm not labeling all consoles. I'm talking about the other part of console where you get people who just, too much. You got to update. You got to get a PS5, so and so and so. Yeah, your sucker's still sitting in a case. Like, you got a doomsday device waiting for you. Literally, you just put a clock on it. Just put a digital clock on it, and it'll just be a doomsday device on how long it's going to take for your system to overheat and brick. Just stick one on there. It'd be kind of cool to watch. Like, I got 5 days left. 5 days left of gaming before this thing actually shuts down on me. Yeah. I don't have that problem with the PS4. I don't. As long as I've had my PS4. And my PS4 has lasted longer than your PS5 system. Yeah. The scary thing that's going to come up on November 7th, the most scariest thing of all? The bug issue. We all know it. Everybody knows it. PC even knows it. Everybody knows it. The 5090s, when they bring them out, you think I'm going to buy one around the... Oh, heck no. You know how much money things cost, number one? And everybody knows that all new stuff that comes out comes with some sort of jacked up bug. Like the Xbox. I told you. One of the bugs they had, the disk drive will open up in the game. I had it happen to me twice in a game. I was like, what the freak? Like the game would open up, cancel out my game and everything. That's messed up. But I literally had one do that to me. I had the drive open up in the middle of gameplay while the game was buffering and playing. I'm like, oh, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. So we all know that hardware has bugs. All of them do. They have bugs. And this is the first time I've seen people do pre-orders on systems. But usually people will be smart enough to wait for the system to launch and for them to pick up the item, and then still you run the risk of the system breaking, having issues at the day. But at least at the end of the day, at least you know you're getting the system. That's another thing too. It's another problem I'm going to deal with too. How many actually do have pre-orders? Let's just say you're one of those people who are going to spend that money. You're going to spend that money to get the system, right? Got questions for you. How do you know that you're actually getting the system? Because when the PS4s, people were getting literally, people were printing out the boxes, and they were getting phone books inside those boxes. They spent $500 for 2 stacks of phone books taped up with duct tape. So how do you know you're getting it? How do you know if the receipts are legit? It's a whole lot of stuff you got to ask yourself before you start dropping money into stuff at the end of the day. And then on top of that, even if you do get, let's say you do get the system. You get the system, you get it, and so on and so on. And it bricks, it has bugs in it. Because again, everybody knows that the new hardware always has bugs. Dreamcast had it. All console systems have bugs. So again, how do you know? So you can spend maybe $3,000 for a system, and it could have an issue. And for those people sitting there saying, well, they test them. Okay. They did a whole test on the 360s too. They did tests on the freaking PS5. You go to PS5, type in PS5 overheated, type in PS5 bricked. They're all through it. There's tons of videos. Every single one of those systems were tested too. Look, they all bricked. So, big question you have is, if you're going to spend $3,000 or $2,000 or $1,500 or worse, way higher than that, how do you know it being a new system? How do you know if it's not going to have one of those interesting, colorful bugs sitting inside of it and it's going to have issues? Who are you going to go take that back to? Now, that's going to be an interesting question. Mind you, you're dealing with the merchant. eBay is, you're not going to eBay. You go to eBay with it. eBay goes to the merchant. Merchant, they might not be there no more. Merchant just leave. And if people saying, well, I can do a chargeback on or whatever. Yeah, you can do a chargeback. Chargeback's going to take you 3 months. It's going to take you 90 days. So that's going to take forever before you get your money back. You can go through that process. And then again, you might be dealing with a dummy on PayPal account. Keep in mind that's PayPal. When you're getting an account, PayPal had an issue with people that would set up these temporary accounts just to rip people off. They couldn't care less about the PayPal account at all whatsoever. They weren't trying to establish and build a business that basically interacted with PayPal. They were just there just to get money as fast as they can, and then basically just leave the account delinquent and just go about their business. So PayPal put in restrictions in their account. You can't just go in and set up a PayPal account anymore like that. You have to show that you have to have, they got caps on them now. Before they didn't have caps. So that may help you right there. But they have caps on them now. So you can't set up a PayPal account automatically just to get money. You have to basically verify a lot of stuff to show that you are you in order for you to have that account. That's when you go to those verification processes. But we've been with PayPal over 13 years, probably over 14 years now. So our account's verified. Everything we have is verified. So My account verifies with PayPal. Matter of fact, enough that we actually get loans from working capital through them. But these other accounts, again, that's what you have to worry about. There's so many different ways you need to worry about. Person can get the money, he can just go ghost on you. And again, whatever he doesn't use PayPal, he can use other features at all besides PayPal. A lot of things you gotta worry about. There's so many ways this could go wrong from Sunday. You're gonna see a lot of videos on YouTube of people very upset. Some people are gonna be happy because they got the system, but they're gonna get clowned because they paid that kind of money for it. And they supported scalpers, because that's what you do. When people go out and they do that, they support these scalpers. If nobody bought from the scalpers at all, and they basically kept their money in their pockets, scalpers would have no need to take a system they can't sell. What's the point of me basically trying to take something that no one's going to buy from me because I'm a scalper, they're going to buy from me? They can't sell the system. And if they can't sell the system, that means that now when the system launches, there's more for everybody because they won't touch them. But because you got people out there full of greed and they'll spend the money, they got deep pockets and they'll buy whatever, they don't care, they'll keep buying, you're supporting the scalpers. And the scalpers are going to continue doing what they do because they know they can make a profit. That's another way of fixing it. But that right there, you can't control greed. It is what it is. So yeah, if I see somebody pop on the system, like I got one, I'm gonna joke the daylights out of you. So let me get this straight. You pay how much for that system? Really? And what's the specifications? It's PC worthy. They're not PC worthy. Don't even bother saying that. Literally don't even bother saying that. You spent how much? Do you have any idea? They're gonna be joking. They're gonna be clowning them. You know why you're gonna get clowned? Because the money you literally spent for that console system, if you bought it from a scalper, you could have literally built an extremely powerful PC. Extremely powerful PC you could have built. You got outdated parts in your machine. 4060 is an outdated part. But it's still good. It's an outdated part. But still, you spent that much money? Really? I could have built this. I could have built a system. You spent $3,000. I could have built an extremely powerful system at $3,000. Heck, could have dropped in a 2011 server board into that sucker with 256 gigs of RAM on it, compared to the 16 gigs of RAM you got sitting on top of that thing. Gee whiz Louise. No, there's no way in the world. I could have put i7s in there, high performance i7s in there. 147Ks in there, easy. And you spent what? With liquid cooling system and all that in there. You spent how much? I can't wait to meet one of these people that pop up on YouTube. So you spent that much for a system, and mind you, for those people saying, but it's the limited edition. You can't open it. You can't play it. It's a collector's. You bought a collector's edition. You open it. You're going to drop the value of it. It's not worth anything once you open them. So it's going to have to stay sealed. And it's only going to be worth money while the hype is going. While that hype is going, it's going to be worth money. But when when time goes past, see how much it's worth then. It's not going to be worth anything. It's going to take time to appreciate, like a fine wine. You know what I mean? You can't take wine, put it in there the next day and go, oh, wow, it sold for $10,000. No, it's got to be there for a while. It's going to be there for a couple of centuries before we can actually come up and go, oh, yeah, I've got this wine from 1876 and blah, blah. Yeah, that's wine worth some money. 1500s, that's worth some money. And especially if you got one from a famous brewery, from somebody who basically is known for making exotic, expensive wines, and you got one from that particular era, from the original maker, yeah, you're retired. You're definitely retired. You got wine in there from freaking the biblical era, you're definitely retired. Gee whiz, they find wine in sunken ships. How much money a case of that's worth? People will sit there and don't even sell the bottle. Just to get a sip of that would cost you money. They'll have like a freaking fundraiser or whatever they do with it, or have some kind of freaking fancy dinner. It'd be something like $20,000 a plate. It'd be something insane, crazy today, and you get a chance to drink this wine from this particular sunken vessel of this freaking I don't know, particular battleship, whatever. At the end of the day, at the bottom of the ocean, they found a case of wine in there, and just to sip that will charge you something like maybe $6, $7, $8,000 for a sip, and people will pay it because they got the money to blow. Where the rest will be sitting there like, really? It's crazy. Who the frick would do that? Then a sip? That's it? I don't get the bottle? Yeah, that'd be us at the end of the day. For them, it's nothing. They got disposable income. That's why they don't care. So, crazy at the end of the day when you think about it. It's the madness that comes with it all. Alright, people. I got projects I'm working on a floor involving screen paint right now, which I can't show you yet because we're going to do something pretty cool with the screen paint pretty soon. So I got it all done. I got to go do something. I'm filming a little experiment right now on that surface because I got to do a panel system for the 235.1. So that's going to be fun right there. And I got to figure out where we're going to put this projector at. So that being said, wish I could mount it right there. That'd be pretty hard. I probably couldn't. Let me check for a minute. 3.2 inches. 3.2 inches. Where do we have it? 3.2 inches. 3 feet. 2 inches. Oh, we're not that far from the screen. Okay, goody gumdrop. That'll definitely work. Alright, cool. Alright, people. When we get ready to do the modification, we're going to drop in temperature gauges into the a little digital tempo gauge. Probably it's going to be sitting on top of the vial container, and in that way you'll see what the temperature is going on inside, because I need to monitor all that. The temperature is going on inside of the tank, so there'll be temperature readings going off inside that tank, so you can see exactly how hot, if this thing is actually working at the end of the day. If it's working out. If it's working, I'm going to be designing more modifications. Let me clean this off real quick. Let's get our some more alcohol cleaning solution to get that cleaned up, because we don't want that in there at all, period. But yeah, you don't have to have any, you're not going to have any fans, and do not go into the power supply. Don't do that. And I saw that guy do that. Yeah, some of the chickens can still hold a charge in there. I remember the old tube TVs back in the day, man. The big old red cable or cord connecting it. Suckers could still hold a charge. You get electrocuted off one of the TVs. You can kill off one of the things. They still hold charges. And they're messing around, pulling out this and pulling out that. Man, respect the gadget. Leave that alone. Go in there and move fans. You don't move any fans off. Just leave it the way it is. I think when I first heard about, I saw one and I saw the PC and I was like, is that in the water? How the frick are they doing that? And then I realized it was vegetable oil, and I was like, oh. So I started doing some research on it, and they were doing mineral oil, vegetable oil, baby oil, like everything they were using. Of course, you don't want to be going to, with what went on, you don't want to be going into freaking store and picking up, you know how much oil it takes to fill one of these tanks? And it just is like a big tank, right? This thing will take about probably roughly 4 gallons to fill up that thing of oil. So you don't want to be in a store buying 4 gallons of baby oil, because you know why. It's not going to look right. It's messed up, I know, but something messed it up for everybody, but still, that's what it is. I'm not making a joke off of it. It's just, it is what it is. It's just not going to look right. But anyway, the vegetable oil I like. It works well, and it's best if you use Crisco Light. That's what I like to use. And if you use something too dark, they're not going to really see your parts all that well. So the Crisco Light works very, very nice. So there we go, nice and clean. Oh, I love this part. This part I love the most. I love cleaning the thermal goo. I don't know what it is about it. It's just, I love cleaning the thermal goo. Oh, look at those pipes. Those pipes are freaking better than the other ones. They're much more shiny. These are more older. And these much more better. I clean both of these. I'm gonna do these instead. I'm gonna turn this with the cooling system on this one. Which means I gotta get these off right here. I gotta get those off. So Let me get my scissors and pull them out because I like this one better. I like these better. Yeah, but you know, one of the things you want to basically, when it comes to your system, is you want to master cooling. Master cooling, because that's going to prolong the life of your unit. It really is. It really is. I think when I say certain things, I try to be as clear as possible. That's why sometimes I repeat them twice. But I'll still get that same person that'll come into my room and he'll be screaming and yelling at me like, hey, you know, you do it. And you're PC Master Race and this, that, and the other, so and so and so. Like, doesn't that clearly just say I do both? And they'll be yelling and screaming at me, talking about, you're president, no, 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 no. Okay. Let you have your Karen moment. Go over here and get back to work on things I got to do. You're sitting there and yelling at me because I won't say, oh, I'm 100% console. I'm not 100% console at all. I've always looked at PC games when I had console systems, but PCs were so expensive. This cost so much money at that particular time. You know, and I didn't know how to build them at the time. So I didn't go to school for this. I didn't go to get any special training from anywhere. I learned how to build computers from God. That's how I learned. I learned all this stuff from God. Didn't go to school for it. I had no degree in it. Nothing whatsoever. Not a thing. Nothing. I wanted to learn how to build computers. And I was deep into Bible studies. And I was reading about the children who built the tabernacle. And I thought to myself, wow, if God can give man knowledge, these are everyday people. They have no skill in tapestry and carving and any of the stuff he had. And I'm thinking like, wow, God can just give man knowledge that fast, that quick, just like that, to build something that amazing. And I thought to myself, wow, if he can give man that kind of knowledge, he can give man anything, teach man anything. And I don't know what happened, but for that split second, I had a moment of empty consciousness, like a link between him and me, him speaking to me. Or anything else in the environment, only what I was hearing when he was talking to me. And he asked me a simple question. He said, what would you like? And I said, I want to build computers. Because that's what I wanted. I wasn't thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about fame. None of that. I was thinking about computers. Because that's what I wanted. I had stacks and stacks of Tiger Direct magazines on my. I was ordering and looking through PC Today and all this stuff, and going online and looking at how to build a computer and looking at bare bone kits, and I couldn't figure out any of it. I couldn't tell nothing, nothing there, nothing at all. Period. And one time I remember calling this guy over at Tiger Direct, and he was trying to teach me how to build a computer. He was telling me how easy it was and how to put everything together. And my mom was just, it wasn't there, nothing was clicking at all. And I wanted a PC so bad, because if I got a computer, that means that all the things that I had in my head that I want to build and design and put together, and the things I would be to see, like vast oceans and outer space and stuff like that, I'm into that. I'm a history junkie. At the end of the day, I like that kind of stuff. So if I only had a computer, I could do this. So I wanted to build one, and I couldn't build it, and I couldn't afford one. So I remember sitting there, and when the Lord asked me that question, what would I like? And I said, I want to build computers all day. Nothing, everything felt the same, you know. And I had faith. I believed it. I believed that if I asked him of something, he would bring it to me. He would bless me to have it. If it was if he felt it was right for me to have, he would tell me to have it. And I prayed on it, and I remember going to sleep, waking up that day, and something just felt different. Something just felt really different. I just had an urge to grab that magazine. At first I grabbed that Tiger Direct magazine, and I looked through it, and boom. I understood it. Everything. I mean, everything. So he gave me that knowledge. I'm sitting there writing composition books on building computers, writing this down, writing this down, writing this down, writing all these different computers I want to build, all these things I want to design. I understood it all. And then one day, I got my opportunity. I went to a thrift store, and I spent $50 for a computer. Modified it, repainted it, redesigned it, a new hard drive, because they was doing the ID cables on it. So I couldn't use ID cables on what I wanted to use, especially for the hard drives I wanted. I wanted to use hard drives with SATA. So they had PCI outputs. With the PCI outputs, I was able to put in SATA outputs with the card. So yeah, I learned how to modify all that stuff, get it running, run the operating system. He taught me programming too, all that stuff. And I learned programming and how to modify it and work on things, encryption coding and all that stuff. All that stuff popped into my head. But I'm more of a builder than I am basically a programmer. And people vice versa, back and forth. Some people do both, half and half. I'm 20% programmer, 80% builder. But anyway, yep. So all that, and got my first computer, and I went online, and I remember going to Europe. I went to a library in Europe to read books, to be able to travel just like that. You end up in, you can go to a virtual library. It's virtual. At the glasses, you can go through the virtual and walk through, and go through a virtual walkthrough to a library in Europe and see and read all the different books in a different environment, and then go under the ocean, see what's there. I remember watching, getting hooked up to something called Earth Cam that allow you to watch different locations in different areas. I found all that so fascinating. So didn't stop there. Once I learned that, I know the Lord has given me not only the knowledge to understand it, but to build and design. The next stage was, I remember somebody a neighbor was throwing out paying for hyperthread. Got one of them. I learned how to overclock with that unit. I learned how to overclock those hyperthreads. Reprogram all of them. Upgrade them. Repaint them. Redesign them. Put the whole case down to the bare bone and rebuild it all the way back up again. If I didn't like the side door, if they came with this metal side door, I had a friend of mine who had this machine that would cut metal, and he would cut out these little peekaboo windows, and I would install plexiglass and fans and all that stuff. And not only did I just get into basically building my own machines, but then I got into modification, which means if I didn't like the case, I actually reconstructed the case. I changed color of it, changed color of monitors, all that stuff, everything. Even basically took apart an entire keyboard, repainted it the way I wanted, put the whole thing back together again. So yeah, it's in that field now, and it just kept evolving and going higher and higher and higher, and boom, here I am now with all this. Yep, all that came from God. Same thing like my screen paints over there. And everyone went to school for none of that whatsoever, and figured out the Lord blessed us to be able to have a technology that has the ability to do things that other screens can't even do. So that's why I said at the end of the day that when you sit there and call me a scammer, at the end of the day, you also call my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ a scammer also. Because everything you see in front of you comes from God. This is my Lord who blessed me to have all this knowledge. So when you see my technology sitting up there displaying screen paint, guess who else gave me that technology? God did. So when you call him a scammer, call me a scammer, you call Jesus Christ a scammer also too. Because he's the one who gave me the knowledge to do it. You can see by what I've been blessed to have, my knowledge doesn't end. It just keeps on going. It just keeps blessing us. And that's why we have that technology over there. And it just keeps going and going and going. So if you sit there and you say at the end of the day that my paint or a scam and I'm a ripoff, and you go and do dirty videos about my products, remember at the end of the day who's involved in technology and that blessing at the end of the day, that would be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that you just slandered. That's not the person that, at the end of the day, that's not the one, I say person, that's not the one you want to insult. The same person, the same voice that spoke to me on the computers, about building my own computers, is the same one that spoke to me over in Home Depot when I first made my first screen paint under digital crystal screen paint. When I was getting frustrated, I was going to walk out the door, and I prayed and to help me because I got rid of my monitors and I didn't want to go back to that screen. And the Lord spoke to me and said, this is what you're going to do. And I went and picked up everything he told me to go get. And I went and made it. Sitting there, the screen looks so much better than that white wall. And I wasn't thinking about doing much with it. You know, I was going to think and just keep it for myself. I was never thinking about selling it at all, period. And my buddy came in and said, hey, you should sell this. That's how I got started. So I built the website and started marketing my product. I got myself a YouTube channel, which I have now, and was on Facebook and all that stuff, and started going to different forum sites and started educating myself about this field because I didn't know much about it at all, period. And started getting to know more about projectors. I had a friend of mine who was helping me. He's in the projection field. He was teaching me all this stuff about different projectors, and lumen counts, and resolution, and all that stuff. He was teaching me all that stuff. So I had to learn all that stuff, everything. And Lord kept blessing us with more and more and more. And he was showing me how to do video demonstrations. He says, I want you to do this demonstration. Now he was teaching me all this stuff. So as my Lord progressed with, when I opened my website, we started getting orders in. When I got my orders, I charged $50 for a quart, and I charged, I think it was $80 per gallon. And this is where I realized that I wasn't making any money, because I was selling the product, but I wasn't making any money. I remember going back and talking to my mom and saying to her, look, like, you know, it's doing well, but I'm not making any money, Mom. She said, well, you got to sell for what your product is worth. You put the hard time in, you put the hard work into it. You basically show your product works at the end because you watch my videos, and you got to basically sell it for what it's worth. You got to know your price worth of your product. And I went back in and I started charging $200 and something for a quart and something like $400 per gallon, and they still bought it because my product was good. It was so good that we actually were getting the attention of people that were contacting me. You think that guy was the first person who came down to sign a contract? We had a bunch of people who had coming down contacting us. We were in different forums and other, and our product became very good and became extremely popular. We had beta testers come in. This guy came in. I made him a beta tester. He's a customer at first. I made him a beta tester. He was testing all my stuff out. He was doing all the videos and stuff. There's another guy who came in. He was doing beta tester for us. Did a lot of video demonstrations for us. And then we had a couple of companies come down, talk with us here and there about contracts. I even got it. I got to find an email. I got an email from freaking Shark Tank at one point. But I was already in a contract. I was in a contract overseas, so I figured we didn't need it. So I ignored it. I found the whatchamacallit I got from Shark Tank. But anyway, so yeah. Lord bless for our product to take off. And then we got into, I saw Screen Innovation. Later years later, I saw Screen Innovation's technology, and I was like, oh shoot, this stuff is amazing. Now I'm thinking this screen is actually black, this black diamond, but remind you, it was the darkest screen I've ever seen. We didn't have any black screen. That was the darkest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, wow, this screen is freaking insane. Like, I'm baffled. I'm trying to figure out, how is he doing this? Like, how has he got black image and he's got white light coming off of it, and how is he producing color and all that? It's just baffling to mind, like, how is he doing that? And I never forget, on my birthday, my buddy went down and he said, I got something for you. I said, what you got? What you got? He said, I got a sample sheet of black diamond. I was like, oh my goodness, really? I said, how was it? And I know he tested. He had to. He's a projector junkie. He said, man, it's like having a TV in your hand. I said, really? That? Yeah. He didn't want to say it was better than my stuff because he wanted me to find out for myself. I'll never forget, I went out and got some Chinese food, and I figured I'm going to be in for a couple of days. And I got upstairs. I was so excited. And I basically put the Chinese food on the desk, opened up that sample sheet, put it against my screen, turned the projector, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Better color than my screen. Better contrast. Pulled in better. It was like looking like a little TV. He wasn't joking. It was like that. It was absolutely amazing. I think, wow, that's incredible. But also, too, frustrating because it beat everything I had. Like, I literally was pulling out little containers of test paint and everything and painting it up. I spent all night going against that screen, and it beat everything I had. I sat there and ate my cold Chinese food and basically thought to myself, well, we got to make a decision here. Can't go in the direction we're at right now, and I'm praying to my Lord, we need to go in the other direction. And the Lord was like, then the direction is the direction you'll go. So we started developing darker technology to try to get something that looks better than the black diamond or close enough to matching that thing. And one day, after weeks and weeks of work, we got it. And there we have an identical match to a black diamond 1.4. It worked exactly the same way the screen did, but the only difference was that the 1.4 had a narrow viewing cone effect. If we turned to the side, it went dark, where when we did it, ours didn't. And that's the advancement I saw over the certified that day. So, again, with all those testing going on, sooner or later, I told you companies will watch you. They reached out and contacted me. Now, so that got started from there. But it allowed me to see two things happen out of that. The first thing allowed me to see that company, I saw that firsthand from that experience, from what I was going through. But I also saw and witnessed that companies also too, sometimes, I'm not saying all of them, can be petty. And you don't start off by contacting somebody and then, when I first was talking to him, I'm thinking it's my buddy playing a joke on me because, he's the one that got me the sample sheet. That'd be a funny joke to play, Even though I've been testing this screen, no one else has been testing on it. So it's got to be him playing jokes. But it wasn't him. My phone might cut off his let you know. So it wasn't him. It was basically them at the end of the day. And I didn't believe him. I said, okay, look, it's you. Send me an email with your watermark on it. Because I don't know anybody's not going to tamper with their watermark. So he sends me an email. It pops up. Like, oh, shoot, it is them. So I got on the phone. I talked to him. And the guy told me he likes the product. It has potential and this, that, and the other. And that they're interested in looking into some stuff. And at that particular time, now I go into freaking protective mode. Because I'm thinking, ooh, man, this is a big company contacting me. I mean, why would they need my stuff at the end of the day? They already got amazing screens over. They wouldn't need my stuff at the end of the day. I don't know about this at all. And I went into protective mode. So wasn't interested unless I got an NDA, which I wanted a non-disclosure agreement, which means if I gave you information on this stuff, you can't use it at all, period. I had to protect myself. And they wouldn't give me the NDA. There was a problem back and forth with this NDA, with dragging their feet. And I said, you know what, I'm done. And I got tired of it and I walked away from it. But still doing test demonstrations. And then this is where we got a court order from their lawyer, or the lawyer sent me out a cease and desist telling me that I had to remove down any videos, stuff like that. And that's the part that basically said, oh, so that's how it is. You're going to contact me at first and say I have potential and say my product is good. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to hit me with a freaking court order because I ain't going in your direction at the end of the day. So from that day on, any technology we developed was strictly designed to take out a black diamond. It was never about you gray screen paints at the end of the day. You just got in the way of things that were none of your business. That's what happened. And you got crushed in the process of it all. Look at the outcome of where you're at right now for dealing with my company. So again, it wasn't about you. It was about Diamond. They're the ones actually our focus was on. Because Diamond, when they did that to me, I was like, that's it. From here on in, any screen we develop is designed to strictly take out this stuff. And this is why when we bought in 5 of their surfaces, we took every single one of them out. Because that's what our stuff is designed to do, to take their stuff out. What do you think that AdTech technology is designed for? They're designed to absorb sunlight. There's actually a projection screen version of that coming out. It's super jet black and it can eat sunlight. It's designed to take out any form of future technology that Diamond can produce. It's not about y'all. But they got on there and got jealous and made it all about them. Oh, no, we got bigger dragons to slay at the end of the day. We're not thinking about you Puff the Magic Dragon jokers at the end of the day. We don't consider y'all to be a threat. If you were a threat, when I came to buy your stuff, you would have been able to back it up instead of canceling your orders and give me back my money. You should have been able to do that. So you're all hype. That's what you are. You're hype men. You don't really do anything. The fact that I'm mentioning in this video is wasting my time. So, no, it was about Diamond. Now, even though Diamond did me that way, Screen Innovation, I say Screen Innovation, not Diamond, Screen Innovation did me that way. Do I come on there and say all this stuff is trash and garbage? No, I don't. I speak the truth. Their stuff is good. That's what changed this going through. If his product wasn't that good, then I think I still would have been making great paints. But it had to leave an impression on me in order for me to change over to darker technology. So I give credit where credit is due. Product is good. I like their stuff. And like I said at the end of the day, if someone asked me, hey, if you didn't develop your own stuff, what certified screen would you go with? I'd say a Screen Innovation. That's what I would get. Because I like their screens. I give credit where credit is due. So even if one of these guys at the end of the day, get this thing off. Why is it always the last one that bites you the hardest? Why? It's like every time you take something apart, it could be a screw, and it'd be the last screw. It'd be a freaking head. It'll get stripped or something jacked that will happen to it. Like, why? It's, oh, there we go. Fine. Gee whiz. Got to remove these things out of here and put the liquid cooling system in. That's what I was back here doing, struggling with this. Trying to get these things out. Freaking Dell. What the heck, man? Really? Seriously? Why? Why would you even make this? Freaking nonsense. Jeez. Freaking headache to get that thing out of there. That's what I was in here doing. Oh, no. When I get on here and I start talking about stuff, I don't come on here and just not do nothing. I always make sure that I do something every day. Learn something new or do something. So while I'm having that conversation, back to building something, putting something together, assembling something for the next video demonstration, something, and utilizing my time. And I still got to go in there and check this guy's website and see if he posted anything, which he didn't do. I know he didn't do it at all, period, because it's not true. We all know it's not true. It's not true. But anyway, yeah. I had to go through all that. But our stuff was never, ever about you guys. It was about certified. Always been about certified. From day one, it was about certified. At all. It's not challenging screen paints. When I was making my own screen paints, I was in there having conversations with people at the end of the day. We were talking about their products, and we were talking about our products, and that's how it was working out, just like that. And then you guys came in and attacked my company and tried to make me sound like a bad guy at the end of the day, and we had to come in and embarrass you. Like I said there, I did. I have your cancel receipts. Your cancel receipts proving that your stuff doesn't work. That's all I need. I can go to any forum site with your cancel receipts, and someone brings your name like, no, we don't buy from them. We wouldn't sit to anybody buy from them because they can't back up their products. Why do you know that? Cancel receipts, cancel receipts, cancel receipts. And they can go to the blacklist and watch the rest of the stuff. End of story. You can't go there and say, well, no, it's cancel receipt. Can't use the line by saying that, hey, they were basically going to our website and just ordering stuff and harassing us. No, we got your email saying we can buy whatever we want, so that kind of cancels that out too. So, yeah. Man, that's the reason why I keep PC parts. This is why. And here's like, why do you keep all these PC parts? I remember my ex was sitting there saying, why do you keep a box of PC parts? And I said, because you never know when you're going to need them. And sure enough, those radiator systems, if I threw them away, this would have been difficult for me to build that system that I got to build to cool that oil in that tank. That would have been a headache to do. I'm glad I keep my parts. I keep everything, screws, bolts, everything. You never know what you're going to be that you have to use. You never know. That's why I keep everything. Good thing. This one actually is much cleaner than the other one. This is going to look really nice. I'm going to put that liquid cooling. We do it when I show you. I'm going to put the whole liquid cooling system. I want to go in here and vacuum this out a little better because I want this to be clean. I don't want any dust floating around in my freaking veggie oil. This one's much better. But they're going to turn this one into a reactor, and the other one's actually going to be a cooling system. Okie dokie. And we built our own submarine because I couldn't find a submarine. I literally sat on camera and said, oh, shoot, I want to build this thing. Either they were too small, they were too big, or they were just too freaking expensive. So, we built our own. There's mine right there. A nuclear submarine. And yes, it's going to have a fan on the far end of it. Got a 30mm fan. It's got a bracket system that connects from here to a little box system right there. And it's got a little fan system it's going to run. So it looks like it's actually sitting there just installing, just getting charged. So once all this is coated black, because I got to prime all this, once it's coated black, we're going to have lights that come from here and here and go right back into the charging station like it's actually being juiced. And we're going to use these right here. These little systems right here, a little shorter, hopefully a little bigger, shorter. I'm a little long. It'd be kind of cool to have them wind out a little around something and have them hooked into the side so like it's actually being charged from the station. So it's actually being juiced. I know a nuclear sub right there. But yeah, I built this out of from bottles. I had to go. I went to Etsy. Etsy has a nice little chat room in there, and you can talk to people about building stuff, and they will help you. At the end of the day, I said, "Hey, look, I need to build a submarine," and the guy was like, "Soda bottles." I was like, "Really? Yep, soda bottles. Soda bottles make a great submarine. Great submarine." And these are just parts from the liquid cooling system that I use. That's the power supply tester. You could those every time you buy a power supply, so I'm not worried about those. These are the caps that came to the water cooling system for the water cooling system right there. And this right here came from the plastic casing for my RAM. That's pretty much it. Yep. There's not the submarine. Everybody else was just charging so much money. That's when you'll come up with your best ideas. Is when you think it's something you gotta do, but everybody wants to charge so much money, and you'll figure to do it for much less. Like our little clock design we have. I just put the moss in. That's the moss. Paint down the design. It's not done yet, so got to put a mossy kind of real greenish around it. And some plants and vines and stuff like that. We have to give it a kind of old Croatian look. So we're painting it bit by bit. I kind of did that off camera. But yeah, that is our power station that we're building. There's a whole story behind that. Doing some cardboard artwork. Actually, the only thing, and it's not even a PC. Basically, all that it is basically, it started off to being a couple of things I had on top of the desk. And it keeps me cool. So I decided to do something about them because I kept knocking them over. So let's put them inside of a nice little case, and that's what we're doing. We're building a little sculpture behind that. The other fan is down, rewiring that one. So I had to pull out, actually learning how to make my own Molex cables. Because, you know, why buy when you can build? I got to get a t-shirt that says that. Why buy when you can build? Why buy when you can build? So that's what we're doing there. And once I want to get into the next stage of liquid cooling. So I want to basically design a system that requires the AIO system setup. I want to do one that actually has the whole complete setup, reservoir setup, a pumping station, the whole 9 yards. I want to do a whole complete liquid build. That's what I want to do next. But I want to build my own reservoir systems. That's what I'm looking into. Building bigger reservoir systems. So I'm probably going to do another rack system involving a massive reservoir tank. Yes, it's going to be sick. So I want to learn all that. I want to learn basically about using plexiglass and different forms of adhesive material for basically sealing plexiglass to make it leak proof. I want to get into that, designing that. So I'm kind of looking at that because that'd be pretty cool, man. If we can build an entire case that has a submerged. Oh wow, that'd be sick. Now that'd be crazy, crazy sick. Imagine a case with a combination of liquid cooling and vegetable cooling at the same exact time. Because I mean, I've seen so many vegetable cool systems. I mean, and vegetable systems where they have their whole entire setup for liquid cooling, but to have a liquid cooling underwater itself, as it's actually, and really need a vegetable. We can actually do it underwater. We can submerge it underwater. That'd be pretty cool. But then you can't have the parts underwater because the parts would be damaged. So it would have to be under vegetable oil. So the things would have to be sealed tightly. I mean, super tight, because if any water gets in there, that is only a problem. So we have to do a little experiment on that. So we're going to have to hook it up to an EcoFlow system because I'm not plugging that thing into a dual wall outlet. If that thing shorts out, at least we know it's only going to hit the ecosystem and the surger. So that's a bit of an experiment we got to do because I'm interested in see if we can do that. Because they have to be unleakable. You can't have something there pumping the liquids back and forth and got all kinds of parts in there. So, boy, that's what might be an issue. Because you still have to maintenance those things. So how would you get access to maintenance? Boy, that'd be a crazy case. Yeah, it's a whole different generation of the case. That'd be insane. Now, that's what I'm saying. I got ideas in my head that I want to do. But that involves some crazy work to do it. I figured it out how to do it, how to bring the entire thing up out of vegetable oil. You would literally have to build the entire PC setup on a lift. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's the only thing that would work, because mind, you can't be sticking your hands in vegetable oil. I know, I've done this one, and changing parts. It's pretty messy in there. Can't do that. You have to have a way to be able to lift the system out of the oil itself, and the only way you can do that is to have your system on a lift that actually lifts up out of the vegetable oil, so everything is exposed, so you can basically work on whatever you need to work on. With rubber gloves, by the way. You might know what rubber gloves. And then that when you're done, you can hit the button, it goes right back under. That would be insane to do it that way. Oh yeah, that would you could definitely use that. That's not far. You can actually build that. It's not hard to do. Just building a little hydraulic lift. That's how you're doing. It's not really that hard to do. And it's interesting when I sit here and have these crazy ideas, or not crazy, but Lord blesses me with these thoughts on how to do this stuff, and I'll have people sit there and go, oh, you know, it's not going to happen. Literally, that was a bunch of cardboard boxes. And here's a rack that I picked up at a convenience store. Pretty much it. This right here, the 235.1, man, that is going to be one of the most sickest screens. I've designed some crazy screens, but that is going to be one of the sickest screens I'm going to be hooking up. That is going to be beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The laser pulse system that pushes through the thing is incredible. It's not a fast pulse, it's slow, and it chases itself. It looks like the screen is actually thinking, like it's functioning like a heartbeat. That's why I'm putting that laser system in. It is going to be gorgeous. And again, it's cheap. This is not going to be expensive setup. This is going to be a very cheap setup that you can actually build. Very cheap setup. We'll put the price down on how much it's going to cost, including with the screen paint, literally what it costs. It is going to be absolutely gorgeous when we get done with this. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. But anyway, I gotta go, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. We did some modification. We talked about this and that. I should put down like off the modification and more. And we can talk about other stuff besides just the PC stuff. We got all our stuff ready to go for our case. I'm gonna use this right here. Put that over right there. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Mr. Pussycat. Good morning to you. I'm gonna start saying it to you every day. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Mr. Pussycat. Good morning to you. That goes Mr. Pussycat. He came out too when I was singing that song. Good morning, Mr. Pussycat. Good morning to you. I had to get him used to his carrier, and I usually don't shove him in there. What I do is, it takes a while. We have to he's used to the other carrier. I got a carrier I had before that one, but he's used to the other carrier. So he'll get in that one and sit down all the time. He sits in it all the time. And I got used to that one in the garage. No, he had that carrier since I lived on Havontown. He had that when I lived out there. He had that carrier. That's how I transported him up here to Allentown. But I laid it on the floor. I never shoved or forced him in anything. I should never do that with an animal, because they can have all kinds of stress and all kinds of problems they can have. They should be comfortable with the environment. So I leave it there and let him get used to me. And that's why I bought it first before I moved. I had to get him used to that carrier. So I put him in the carrier, put it down, and he'll go inside and sit down. He won't touch it for the first couple of days. He won't go near it at all, period, because he doesn't know it. But after a while, he'll get used to it. Being there playing around, joking, and having fun, and he's got used to it. Now I can put him in there. I can carry him around without him fighting, carrying on, going up, without being stressful. And as he's in the car, first time being in the truck, you know what I mean? He got used to everybody in the truck, you know what I mean? You got to talk to him and basically pat his fur a little bit, joke and laugh, and let him know it's okay. And put a little blanket in there for him. They like to cover up. The security blanket, they like to cover underneath that blanket. They feel secure. So anywhere I take him, he has a little blanket in there. We can cover up and he can look around. So here, the bubble bag I got for him. Moving him back and forth. This bubble bag is his transporter bag. I take him back and forth. This one is a little bit, it's big. It's plenty of room in there. and he's not that happy, which I'm glad. So I put it down, and he had to get used to it. One day I found him, he wouldn't go near it at first, he wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but one day I found him in there doing playing around and dancing in there. I'm thinking, okay, now he's ready. So I put him in there, he's happy with it. I took him for a couple of long walks, not too far. Got to get him used to traffic and noise, because we take certain routes. When I transfer him from the house, we take certain routes to make sure that it's not a lot of dogs barking. It's going to really, mess with his nervous system when he's in there. And as he gets used to it, then he's good to go now. And I don't need the rag anymore. He's got his head up, he's looking around like, what the freak is that? And what the freak is that? And what the freak is that? And when people come over to him, he doesn't put his head down now. He has a little tie on. People see him with his tie on there, looking at people like, I had him over in Rite Aid, and people just looking at him, just like looking at people with his tie on. You people have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. The second generation of alien cats are coming. They're going to rule the world. You just don't know it. You're already our servants. Servants bow down to your king. I'm pretty sure they like that. Servants bow down to your king. Cats have that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like I wouldn't say arrogance. Hey, some they do have a little bit of arrogance. Some they know at the end of the day that you're a servant at the end of the day. You are a servant. Yes, you are. Bow down. Was that right? Where you at, Taco? Anyway, in here. I tell you one thing, man, I love about this cat. I can paint something. When I painted screens, he never walked across a screen, never. Any area, I didn't have to train for that. Any area I'm painting that, he'll never be in that area, ever. He'll be somewhere completely different. I'm doing a splatter screen right now for the next video. He will be someplace else. He won't walk near it, nothing, not a thing. I've never had a problem walking on countertops. He don't walk on the desk, nothing. Never had that issue. Never had a training for that. You don't even tear stuff up. Nothing, not a thing. I got a leather chair in here, or a leather office chair. Don't tear it up. Had $1,000 or $1,300 leather reclining sofa. Never tears it up. He has a scratching post. I go to the scratching post only. That's it. Never ever had that issue. Ever. Not ever. When I was over at my sister's house and I brought him in, she was like, "Oh, we got a cat." She was picking him up, carrying him around, which is kind of strange because Tiger don't really get along with people all that well. For some reason, he got along with her really well. So when I die, he'll be going to her. So I'm glad about that. I got somebody to take him in. She said she had no problem. She could love the Taco. Just don't kill me off really fast till we get to him. But anyway, she was picking up, carrying him around the house. I was like, interesting. I was kind of looking at Taco like a traitor. But then I was kind of like, oh, okay, so if I die, my sister can take him. So that's already set up. That over her if I pass off the earth. Hopefully I don't. I'll be around as long as I can. I'm up to my cat. But anyway, so yeah, when we go out, there's spots set up for Taco. Here, my people at the end of the day, they take care of my cat at the end of the day. They consider Taco to be family. As a matter of fact, that's how he got his full name. He got this. A bunch of names in there. Anyway, my Dominican brothers gave the name. Yeah, his spot set up for him. So I walk over there, he got a freaking little box waiting for him. He got food waiting for him and water. They got it all set up. They only give him bottled water. Everybody gives him bottled water. Everybody. I don't ask if they give him bottled water. They treat him like that. When they go to my sister's house, they seafood junkies over there. They order him a platter, a lobster platter. Come on, $50, $60 platter. I'm like, give my cat a $50, $60 platter. That's stinky butt. They call it stinky butt. That's what they call stinky butt. Lobsters, crabs, black, what's that thing they had? He don't like oysters too much. He didn't like that. But he did like the black, what's it called? Caviar. They gave him black caviar. Black caviar. This stuff ain't cheap. She gives it to him. She got a little bottle for him. It's only for him. They spoil the daylights out of him. Milk, tuna, whatever he wants when he go over there. Everything he wants. They take care of him. So any spot I pop up, they got food, everything waiting for him. And I'm doing when I go over there. And he's taking care of him. Big time. Everybody knows Taco. Every time he's on my phone. Every time I bring him in. I brought him with the tie and they're like, oh my God, that's Taco. Yeah, it's Taco. Taco. Soon Taco, when we get to it, Taco, and we will get to it. I think we're going to do it this summer. We're going to have his screen paint come out because I've been talking about that for a long time. But he is going to have his screen paint. His screen paint all proceeds because I got people that are involved in that, especially for the SPCA, because Taco's proceeds go for his products go to the SPCA. All of his proceeds go to the SPCA to help out animals. That's what we're going to do because that's how I got Taco. Taco was just straight when I got him. Talking, it's the cats have to choose you. You have to be chosen. He chose me. I thought about that. He don't really get on a lot of people. He really don't. He's not like if you pet him, you can't really pet him. He hides from you. He hides from everybody. You know, it takes him. Only time he may accept people if he's in the bubble, he feels protected because you can't go near him. He's in that bubble. But most of the time he'll be under his covers, but he don't go near people at all. And I found it interesting that he was going from house to house, and he was going from house to house, but other people were trying. He wouldn't let them touch him. He walked into my house and sat in the middle of my floor, calm as can be, as if he belonged there, and meow. And I said, "Oh shoot, I got a cat." I've been praying. I asked the Lord for a cat. We're praying for a cat or dog or something to take care of. And sure enough, when here he come walking right through the driveway, and I didn't see him at first. I just looked down and I saw a cat walk between my legs and go in the house. And I was like, "Oh, I got a cat! Oh my goodness!" And I looked down and I was talking to the mail lady. Said, "Well, I'm gonna let you go." I said, "Thank you." She threw that for me, gave my mail. And I looked at him. I was like, "So, what's your name?" So he was walking around the house, sniffing the area, getting to know the area. And I started calling him Taku. It's a Japanese cartoon I like. And he just wouldn't take to it at all, period. Just didn't respond to it. So I don't know how we got to the word taco, but I said the word taco and he responded to it. And I was like, taco? Taco. Taco. He responded taco. But I thought he was a female at first when I got him. His name was, he also had the name Taku and Kitty Caboodle. Because I thought he was a female because he had such a small head. And I'm thinking, got a female cat. All right, cool. So we're sitting up there watching Netflix because that's where we got the second sofas. And he would jump on the other sofa and he watched Netflix with me. I was like, oh, shoot, he watches TV too. So we're sitting there watching TV together and he started cleaning himself. I'm like, oh, you're a dude. So we're back on email and canceled all his stuff and got all guide stuff. So we got him the pen, I got him dishes, I got him food, all this stuff, everything shipped in, everything for him. A free collar. Got him in a carrier. My buddy came out and took him over to SPCA, got him looked over. He's in perfect condition. Not one flea, nothing, not a thing. When God gives you a blessing, he gives you a blessing. So nothing at all, period. And I never had to worry about him walking. I never found him on countertops, nothing whatsoever. It's like Lord pre-trained him right there from the door. Never had any issues from him at all, period. And I noticed when I was painting, I said, well, I better be careful because he might walk across the screen. Nope. Not ever walk across the screen, not ever. So he's perfect. Yeah, end of the day, yep. He's perfect. And he doesn't even, he meows sometimes, but he mostly has this kind of growl. He goes, rawr. It's funny. I call it the Tony the Tiger, growl. Growl. That's pretty much it. But yeah, God bless me to have that at the end of the day. That's why I said at the end of the day to you naysayers out there, you want to tease a cat at the end of the day, do you know where the animal came from? Do you know who gave me the animal? My Lord gave me the animal. I hate to say it, but you know what? You get yourself in a situation, you're going to need God. You got to remember, you mocked one of his servants at the end of the day, and you mocked his blessings. And then you got a nerve, think about it, to get on your knees and ask the Lord for help, or ask the Lord for blessings and what you've done. You know you got to get forgiveness for that. God can't give you anything at all, period, until you get forgiveness for it. That's how it works. Yep. So you can't get nothing at all, period. You mocked a Christian at the end of the day and his blessings that my Lord gave to me. That was a blessing. It was given to me. Out of all the places he could have went to, he chose this house. And for some reason, we clicked. Like he didn't run from me, nothing whatsoever. Yep. So all the blessings my Lord blessed me to have, you mocked my blessings and you cursed my blessings. So what do you think how the Lord's going to handle that? Now, when you better learn to fear God, you better learn to get on your knees and beg for forgiveness.
Because again, like I said, people don't fear the Lord, and that's the problem. They don't fear Him. But you do know that your heart rate, that the very breath that comes from your mouth right now, is controlled by Him. The fact that you're still standing there is controlled by Him. The fact that you're able to wake up the next day and watch this video is because of Him. If He decides that it's going to be, then it's not going to be. There's no doctor on the face of the planet. There's nothing that can stop it at all. You're here because of His good grace, not because of yours. If that was the case, then when you would die, you could take yourself with you, you could come back, and you can't come back once you go. So you're here by His good grace. But the fact that you can get up every day, go to work, come back, and still be intact is a blessing from God. Because it don't have to go that way. Some people it doesn't happen. Some people, as we speak, are leaving their homes and they don't come back. You gotta consider that. You gotta know how to treat people right at the end of the day. If you're gonna treat people right, God is basically He's gonna basically come in to give justice to His servants at the end of the day. His people are not meant to be walked on. They're not meant to be trampled on. They're not meant to be disrespected at the end of the day. We're God's people at the end of the day. And the same thing vice versa to us. We, because we're God's people, doesn't give us the right to do wrong to others, because we will answer for it too also. We will go through our trials and tribulations because we are not supposed to do certain things and you're not supposed to do certain things. But yeah, it's far dangerous to basically tamper with a Christian than it is with a man that's not saved, because our Savior protects us. So I'm just giving that for food for thought. Now, you can take it as a joke at the end of the day and go, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. The devil's saying the same thing too. Oh, right, take it for a joke. I got something planned for you later on. Yeah, because he does. What you serve, when you serve the devil, because you deny God, and you serve the devil, he got something planned for you. Because his plans for you are different. Way different. It's not to see you have a better life. It's not to see you basically and have a wonderful... No, it's not. It's destruction and death. That's what he has for you. Simple and plain. His job on this planet is to take your life. That's it. To get you on the other side. That's all he needs to do. And once he gets you over there, you can't go to Jesus. There's no praying. There's nothing. You've had your chance. Your opportunity is gone. That's it. He got what he wanted. That's all he wants. As long as you're over here, you have opportunity to be saved. Just like I did. I had opportunity. Why I'm here. Why I'm still alive. Look at you, you sneaky paws. Look at him. Sneaky paws. Look at him. He's not even touching the screen. Told you. He won't even, nothing. Sneak the sneaky paws. Sneaky paws. What are you doing, sneaky paws? But like I said, when I was over here carrying on and acting up, he looked just like Godzilla. I swear cats look like Godzilla. He did. Anyway, while I was over here, my opportunity of being saved and become a Christian, or live that life I was living, out there carrying on and acting up, and if the Lord didn't have mercy on me and decided to turn his back on me, the devil would have took my life in a hot second. Ow! You bit me? Really? That's that tiger instinct coming out. You just have a choice. You have a choice to fight. Anyway, so yeah, if he turned his back on me, if he didn't have a plan for me, I would have ended up in hell. That's where I would have went to, because I would have died out there. Anything could have happened to me. I was in a high, violent neighborhood. It's a high risk of death for me in that neighborhood. Easy for me to get killed. So, I was able to go and do dumb stuff, which I did, and deny God. And he basically still looked out for me. And through his grace, I was able to go through the ordeal I had to go through in life to find my way to him, which is get locked up, which I did. And because of him and getting that opportunity, my mom brought me that Bible, even though the demon in the next cell told me it wasn't going to do me any good, which was a lie, because I'm here right now. So I got that opportunity. But if I didn't take it and I died, then I'd be going to hell. And there would be no way for me to be saved. Jesus wouldn't hear me. God would not hear me. No one would hear me. Only the demons would hear me. because that's where the devil wanted me at. He wanted me dead. And he tried. I've been in drive-by. People try to shoot at me, and people try to stab me, and all kinds of stuff. I've been almost in situations where people are trying to kill me all the time. It wasn't just because of what I said to my brother-in-law. I was just really doing some bad stuff out there, and yeah, I didn't care who at the end of the day, because that's the kind of reputation I had. And the devil knew if I kept going down that road, sooner or later he would get his wish by killing me. He didn't get that wish. Now he's mad. He's extremely mad because he was so close to taking my life, and so close to having my soul. Well, he can't have my soul. God has a soul. So close to have me burn and eternal damnation, that he didn't get that opportunity. I'm pretty sure he was in heaven bidding for my soul. You know, it's the devil walks in and out of heaven to and fro. It's the Satan's walking out of heaven where you're going to and fro. He does. He walks through heaven sometimes. And the Lord asks him, where are you going? Oh, to and fro. That's where I'm going. But anyway, yeah, he'll bid on your soul. And what about that guy over there? He's not doing anything. Look what he's doing at the end of the day. He's going to tell me he's not worthy of death? Let me go kill him. Yeah. He comes and questions for your soul. Yep. Trying to figure a way how to get you on the other side. Just to get you on the side. You'd be surprised. Now, while you're up there carrying on and acting up and doing all these dumb things on the planet, keep in mind that someone out there is waiting for you to do something extremely stupid so he can take you with him. You're worrying about your enemies at the end of the day. You got a far worse enemy than your enemy at the end of the day. A far worse one. You got a far worse one that's watching you every single day. You think at the end of the day you hate Mary or Joe or whatever down the street and the other, that ain't your biggest problem. You got a bigger problem than that. You got something out there watching you, and not just one. You've got a legion out there watching you. Mind you, there were a lot of angels that fell from heaven. Legions. So you got an entire army out there watching you, waiting for you. So you better get right with God. You better get on your knees and pray and ask the Lord to have your back and protect you. And you better serve the Lord, because at the end of the day, Jerry, John, or whatever down the street can't do jack to you when you serve God. They can't do nothing to you at all, period. The devil would tell you to go out there and mess with, go prove your point, go mess with them, blah, 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 blah. You can't let them treat you that way. You got to do something, Yeah, and then the devil's telling them at the same time, you can't let him treat you like that. Yeah, they're playing a game with you. You go out there and you guys get into an argument, and one of y'all kill one of each other, and then there you go. Already set in process. And the Lord's telling you, don't go out there, don't go bother with them, don't bother with them whatsoever. Let them be who they are. Who cares? At the end of the day, he's talking to you. Some people don't listen to that voice. So, long story short, that if you put your faith in God at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about those people down the street. Those people down the street that can't touch you at all, period. But knowing this, also something out there is after them that's far worse at the end of the day than their enemies that they think that they have. Far worse. And there's a legion of them waiting for them. That's why when I see my enemies out there carrying on and acting up and doing stuff at the end of the day, I know it's watching you every day. I know it's sitting there and that's in your home. Oh, I walk right into your home and walk into a Christian's home. They ain't supposed to be there. And they do go in there. We plead in the blood of Christ and they got to go. But if you don't follow the Lord at the end of the day and you're about that life, then guess where they're at? They're sitting in your environment watching you. All alone, just staring at you, thinking different ways on how I can get him in a situation that I can kill him to get him over here with me. That's what they're thinking. They want your salvation. That's what they want. And if you think at the end of the day that's not true, well, the devil came to Jesus and tried to take his soul. Or try to not take his soul, try to destroy the body, the sacrificial lamb that he was in. He came to him. Because he knew that, so heck no way in the world we can let this guy do this, because if he does this at the end of the day, we're going to lose a lot of people. We got him. We got to kill him before he gets sacrificed. We have to try to tempt Jesus. So again, as I said before, the people on the planet think they're big and bad. At the end of the day, you got something far worse that's watching you. Far worse. Your military can't stop it. Your whatever you feel you're gonna bring in a witch doctor. How you gonna bring a witch doctor in? You're gonna go. You're gonna basically put evil against evil. That's not gonna work at all. Period. What happens in the day won't work. The only thing you have is God. So if you think you're the biggest person and baddest person on the face of the planet, you got something far worse watching you every single day. You can't see it. You don't know it's there, but it knows you're there. It knows your name. It knows everything about you. It knew you from the day before you were even born. It knows you. That's what you have to think about. I think if you had an evil dictator and a demon had popped up and looked him right in the face and said, hello, guess who I am? I'm the one that's been talking to you. I bet you he would jump out a window. He would scream. Some people would think he went mad. And he probably would go mad. I bet you he would change his life completely if he saw exactly what was talking to him all that time. Because God didn't give you commands to go out and do those evil things. Their demons telling you to do that. But I guarantee it, they'd let himself be known. They'd show him what his true form looked like. He would go mad. He would lose his mind because he couldn't process that kind of evil. He couldn't. Probably find him out there on the side of the building, rocking back and forth, drooling at the mouth, screaming his brains out because he couldn't handle what he saw. Yep. You'd be surprised. I told you the other day, I've seen demons. I've seen them. I've seen them. I think that's the reason why Lord let me see him. I saw him for a short period. I saw him not for a short period. Actually, about a year. I saw him. I seen him. Not in a true form, but I seen him in human form. It's really the craziest thing you ever seen in your entire life. There's no horror movie on the face of the planet, no haunted house in the world can ever compete with what I just saw at the end of the day. Not even close at all. Period. But the Lord had to see these things because I was so involved with the devil, carrying on and acting up and getting involved in all this stuff, hating on Christians and all that stuff. I was so involved of listening to these demons tell me things to do that the Lord allowed me to see what I was actually having a conversation with. And yeah, no, never, ever going down that road ever again. Ever. And why are you licking the wall? What's the deal with you licking the wall? Why you gotta lick the wall? Why are you so weird? You know, I swear, I would like to know exactly what goes on in your mind sometimes. There's got to be hilarious in there. It's got to be. It's got to be. Look at you. Look at you. Taco. Taco, look at you. Look at you. It's like I'm a little kid. Look at you. Look at your little curly tail. Look at your curly tail, all benty. Why is your tail so benty? It looks, I don't know why. He's looking at projectors at one point. I don't know why. But yeah, you gotta think about that. Gotta think about that. Yep. Gotta think about that. He's quick and he's fast. I did daily walk and talk. I had somebody look at me the wrong way and I snapped. Because I don't like people looking at me that way. And I guess the guy was like, I don't know why he was staring right there, and I snapped. But I had to calm myself down. Like, you remember what is triggering you to do this. Gotta remember who is triggering you to do this. That's the devil. Calm it down. Do not give him that thing. And I gotta calm myself down. What you doing? I don't know. What you doing? I see you over there making mathematical decisions like you're about to jump. What you doing? You see something? What you see? Oh, I made the furry pants. Why are your pants so furry? Who made your pants so furry? Why are they furry? You don't even know why. You don't know why. You don't even know why. Your fingers a little bit like that thing will bite. It's funny because he'll sniff my finger, roll like that. Oh, ain't no bite. That's that animal instinct of him being part tiger in him. We gotta take that bite. He has to. There's no choice. It's an instinct. He has to bite. People get mad when their cats bite them. It's not their problem. It's the instinct. They're tigers. They're little tiny tigers. That's what they are. Look at them. They're little tiny tigers. They have to bite you. It's part of their instinct. They got to sniff you for a little bit. I'm like, sniff you around. Take some chicken around. Gotta take a little bite out of you. Take a little. Come here. 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 Come here.
So freaking goofy. Oh, my phone's on life support. Oh, you're not gonna do it on camera now? You're not gonna do it on camera? You're just gonna. Ow! Told you. Because I was messing with you on camera. Okay. I'll bite you. I'll bite you. They don't hurt. And they don't love like this. All it is. It's hilarious. It's funny. Because he usually sniffs my hand real slow. And he, a little bite he does. Well, yeah, he said, you want me to bite you? I'll bite you, all right. You're funny jokester. All right, I got to do a splatter screen in a few minutes. And let's see. That's basically about it. I want to talk about the Lord here and there. And again, it's to warn people at the end of the day. It is to warn you. You know, I've already traveled that path already. I've done it already. I traveled that path already. Went out there and, caused a lot of trouble and ruckus and carried on and everything. And I basically messed up and had to go through this system, criminal system and all that. And that's how I found Jesus. I found Jesus in the criminal system. You know what I mean? That's how I found God. But that's what saved my life. It definitely saved my life. I sit back here and I think many times that the devil had opportunities to take my life and could have taken it. Oh, just imagine if I would have died. Imagine that. No savior, no hope for me, no way to be to know Christ, nothing. Right? It would have been cut off from me. That scares me more than anything in the world. But the fact that I could have lost my salvation, I could have lost getting to know my Lord and Savior out there carrying on and acting up. And I thank God that He didn't give up on me, because He could have. And that's the beautiful thing about Jesus. Jesus is God. God is Jesus. He doesn't give up on us. He doesn't say, well, so and so and so. He gives us the opportunity to make those decisions. He gives us the opportunity to be saved. It's whether or not you want to hear him or not. And it's interesting because I remember hearing my mom talk like this. I remember hearing people from the church talk like this, and I thought they were all cult members. Oh, you Christians ain't nothing but cult members at the end of the day. That's all you are. Y'all have no control. You're all brainwashed. That's what I believed at the end of the day. And the other way around, I was the one that was brainwashed. I was brainwashed by the world. My life was not a good life when I was out as a sinner. It wasn't a good life. I had money. I did things and made money. I made very good money, but it wouldn't make me happy. And that's the one thing I told you about why I don't become obsessed with money. How you got all this technology. How do you filthy rich? Because it's not ready. It's not my time for that. It's not my time. I'm not ready for that yet. The Lord will make it possible. Now this time I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have what I want, but I know better. I know what the Lord has set up for me. I know why the Lord put me in this position. I know what we have when people come through. These aren't going to be small, or these are going to be big contracts coming through to look at all this technology when we're working on. So I know it's going to bring a lot of money our way. But how do I handle that money at the end of the day? Do I allow Satan to get in there and let me party and carry on and act up and all that other nonsense? Or do I let the Lord handle it, where we can take this money and we can do something positive with it and help others with it? You know what I mean? And just keep our path as true as we possibly can. That's what we do at the end of the day. I've been down that road. That's the reason why I had to go through the trial and tribulations way before I knew you guys, way before I knew anybody. I had to go through my own personal trial and tribulations because the Lord had something planned for me. I didn't know anything about me doing screen paint when I was out in the streets carrying on. I didn't know anything about me doing computers. None of this stuff didn't even exist to me. The fact that it exists to me now is I can look back and see why the Lord was prepping me for things He had planned for me in the future that I could not see yet. And the reason why I had to go through that slipping and falling for the money while I was a Christian and turning my back on God and for the money is because the Lord knew that in time that He was going to bless me with these things I have right now, that was going to give me the blessings I'm going to have to be on that level to do things in His name for Him. But I had to go through something first to get it. And in order to go through something, I had to learn things along the way. That money, it can be and it can take away my salvation if I become obsessed with the things of this world. So I had to walk a path where basically of having nothing. I had to walk a path of having things and basically learning how to
moderate and control, and to be able to give the Lord the glory first before I give myself any glory. And I shouldn't have any glory at all, period. And honestly, I shouldn't have none of it. But you know what I'm talking about. So, I went through a period of my time where I walked away from, I dropped my cross for money, and I lost my salvation for a while. And no matter what I purchased, no matter what I bought, didn't make a difference. I had this big old hole in my heart, and I couldn't feel it. Nothing could fill it. The only thing could fill it was at church and sitting down, picking up a Bible, and becoming whole with God. That's the only thing that could fix it. So I went through that for a couple of years of serving that money. And then when I lost everything from me, I lost everything. I ended up on the street. I became homeless. And my sister invited me to come down to her place. I went down to her place and slept on her sofa for about a month and decided that I wanted to get my life together, get back with the Lord. She's a Christian woman. And I got myself back. Came back a stronger man. Got myself working at a busting suds, washing some dishes. Got a little rented room and worked my way up. And that's what I did. I had to go through some stuff. But I learned in that process that money is not what I want at the end of the day. I'm blessed to have it. I mean, we have what we need today, but I'm not obsessed with it because my salvation comes first. I build my treasures in heaven, not on this planet. So when my Lord had blessed us with ad tech and all the technology we have here, this is multi-million-dollar technology. I got people lined up to invest in our stuff, but I'm not going to take something. I don't want to have any of it all, period, if it means losing my salvation with God. If I lose my salvation with God, I don't want it. I don't want the company, I don't want the business, I want nothing. I walk away from it all. His salvation is more important. But the Lord has put me in a situation with my life that I have learned from my mistakes, and now I'm ready to make it to the next stage. And my next stage is the money we're going to receive, the money we're going to be blessed to have. Fancy cars, ain't about big homes, it's not about none of that. It's about basically using the money to be able to help other people out and to preach about the Lord. Now, whether or not they want to be with the Lord or not, it's up to them. It's up to them. I'm not forcing anything on anybody. But let them know exactly where it came from and let them know my story about what I had to go through and why I serve the Lord the way I do. It's a testimony. At the end of the day, God can make anybody a warrior of God. Anybody. Sorry about that. I get emotional. You have to understand. I mean, trolls can sit there and call me crybaby. Don't care. I'll cry for my Lord any day. Any day. He gave me a second life. He gave me a second chance. Yeah. So, I had been through a lot in my life, and the Lord got me through all of it. Every bit of it. Got me through all of it. All of it. And I'm very thankful for it. Very thankful. If it weren't for him, I'd probably still be in prison today. Could be dead by then. A number of things could have happened to me. The reason why I have what I have and the reason why I have the blessings before me is because of him. He made a way for me in life. And that's why I'm loyal to him and to him only. When I make mistakes on camera, when I do things, I have to prosecute myself on these things. When I say things I shouldn't say, I have to prosecute myself. Because again, I want to serve him 100%. And that's why I can't wait that when the day comes, when it's my time to leave this earth and go see his face, I'm going to be to serve him 100% without this cursed body. Until then, while I'm here, I'm going to preach his name. I'm going to bring him up in all my videos. Because if it weren't for him, I'm not going to deny the one who gave me life. I'm not going to deny the one who gave me blessings. I'm not. For anybody. I don't care if someone sits there and says, hey, look, I'll give you millions of dollars at the end of the day. But you have to deny God and follow me. Well, you're going to be walking alone. Because I don't want what you have at all, period. I have walked away from contracts. I've walked away from business deals that could have brought me a lot of money. My Lord comes first. He comes first before anybody. Well, people, I gotta go. I got a splatter screen to do pretty soon on the floor, which I like doing splatter screens. And we're definitely gonna do a paint in screen today. We're gonna paint in the screen today with black paint. I think I got a paintbrush on there somewhere. I'm not sure. They ain't not paying attention to the screen. And that's what I'm happy about, people. You know? When people attack me and all this stuff at the end of the day, look, I know at the end of the day, you can't take nothing from me. I've seen the devil attack me. Multiple times I've seen him attack me. And you can't take anything from me. Nothing. What my Lord has given to me is for me for life. When I live up, when I die off this earth, it's going to stay here. But for why I'm here, my Lord is going to bless me with everything I need. So I'm not, when people predict and say, oh, he's going to be homeless or he's going to lose his business, you're speaking the devil's words. The Lord's not going to take anything from me. He's not going to have me live in being homeless. I'm not going to lose my home. I'm not going to lose my business. Orders are not going to stop. I'm not going to go through any of that at all, period. All these blessings came from him. The Lord's not going to give you a blessing and you just cut it off. He's not going to do that. He's going to allow your blessing to keep growing. As long as you walk in the right path, keep walking in the right path, stay away from the things of this world, and try to basically walk as close to the path as you can with the Lord. Got to think of it this way. You got a thin path. There's fire on each side. And the Lord is with you. You want to be as close to him as you possibly can. Heck, if you can jump on his shoulders and have him piggyback him at the end of the day, you know, carry or whatever, you want to be as close as you possibly can. Because if you fall off on either side, there's nothing but brimstone and fire waiting for you on each side, and it's not good in any way. I try to get as close to my Lord as I possibly can because I know what's out there waiting for me, and I know what's out there hunting me. You think the devil doesn't hunt me because I'm already saved? No, the devil hunts me even more because I'm saved. And if he already had me, he wants me definitely even more back. But he's not going to get it. He gets no Satan, he gets no victory at all. Woo! Found the tools from the rotary equipment. I told you I found this already. I worked on the stuff over there. I get the tools first. Yep. And Christian, what some people have to understand is that when we fall, we get back up. Because we serve God. We fall. Sometimes we fall off something, or fall off the side of a hill, or this and the other. We may hit the ground. We get up, and every time we get back up, we're stronger. Each time we get back up, we're stronger. Every time we hit, we're stronger. All right, people. Hope you enjoyed. Yes, splatter screen to do next. So I'm coating that in right now. I like those splatter screens are pretty fun. And pretty soon we'll have that 235.1 built. I have no idea what we want to demonstrate with this first. I think Mad Max is Thunderdome. Oh, by the way, I am not doing that game anymore. The zombie game is done. We're not doing it no more. We're done. No more. No. When you get that feeling not to do something, sometimes you push on. I'm a big fan of zombie games. That particular one did something weird before I left out of the office, something weird happened. I'm not playing it ever again. Not ever again. It's on my system. I'm trying to figure out how to uninstall it. So something shadowed me in the office. Gave me serious, deep depression. I mean, very deep depression. Not suicidal depression, like deep depression. I know what that is. That's a demon. When a demon overshadows you, you get this depression or down feeling, you feel like the world's crushing you. That's a demon that does that. So there are certain demons that do certain things, and I know what they are. And that one basically hit me yesterday. And I went in and disconnected from the game, grabbed my Bible, and started praying and asking the Lord to get it away from me, get it away from me. Pray. Look at it with my Christian music on. Get it out of here. Get it out. Go. And it left. Left a little lingering feeling in there, but the Lord took it all out. Took everything out. That game. You got to be careful what you play in games. You do. I played some zombie games. They're pretty much fun games, but the Dying Light's a little interesting. I've never played one like that before. It's a little darker than most games I play. Some of the games I play are a lot of comedy games, which are fun, you know what I mean? But the Dying Light is a little different. It's more realistic in certain ways, but it's still dark. And there were just things I warning signs and flags were going off, but I was ignoring it because I like the game. But sometimes stuff like that will happen. The Lord's warning you, back away from it, uninstall it, get rid of it. Yeah, and there you go. That's what hit yesterday. So, never want to have that feeling ever again. It was the worst feeling I ever felt in my life. It was weird. It was strange. I never felt like that before. Like something had just crushed me, just put all this pressure, and I felt so depressed. It was unbelievable. Sadness and heartbroken I've never felt. It was unbelievable. And it came from that game. Can't play everything. Can't play everything. So I'm not going there ever again. At all, period. I'm done. You gotta tell me one time, Lord. Or you just tell me one time and I'm done. So now I'm downloading Disney's Storm Speedway. I got games I'm already playing. Oh, I found some pretty cool games on here. Oh my goodness. Some good games on. But anyway, long story short, yeah. Lord, sometimes we do. As Christians, sometimes we do push forward on things that we shouldn't be pushing forward on. We do. Yes, we do. Sometimes we ignore flags because it's something we want to do, you know. But Lord will come and say, hey, I told you stop playing that game, and this is what happens when you play it. And like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So you gotta be careful because you can bring things in your environment that are not supposed to be there. And that's what I did. You're playing that game. Yeah, there's certain games I would not touch with a 10-foot pole over near them. Alright, people. Enjoy your day. Be safe out there. Walk with the Lord the best way you possibly can. Please do. You know, I don't tell you these things to scare the crap out of you. I just tell you things that is actually true. There are things there's angels watching you. If there wasn't angels watching with you, the devil would have a field day out there. And if it wasn't. So if God wasn't watching me, God was watching me the whole entire time. When I was out in the streets carrying on, the angels were watching over me. But, you know, don't take it as, well, God's watching over me, I can still do what I want to do. It don't work that way. It don't work. You basically going out and doing the things you know you should not be doing, and then going back to the Lord and asking for forgiveness, and then going back out and doing the things you're doing, and then go back and ask the Lord for forgiveness and have no sorrow in your heart is the equivalent of me punching you in the face and saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to punch you in the face, but the next day when I get up, I punch you in the face. And I come back out again and say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't need to punch you in the face. And then I come back out the next day and I punch you in the face. See what I mean when I'm getting at? I'm not really sorry for it. Or if I hit you and I go, oh man, you know what, I'm sorry, you know, my bad, you know, it's wrong, so, you know, I apologize and all that. And then every time I see you, I say, look, your neighbor, I'm sorry, so, blah, blah, and I keep apologizing, I'm sorry, but I'm really sorry about what I did. And I'm never going to do it ever again as long as I did, because I'm truly sorry about it. When you're not sorry about something, you'll keep doing it over and over again. Yep. So, got the point right there. There we go. All right, people, gotta go. Thank you all. Be safe out there, and God bless.